Well, welcome back here to the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Round 1 here at Suzukatwin Circuit. Glad that you are joining wherever you are around the world. I'm Ryan Sage alongside Ryan Lantain, and we are just about to get the top 16 underway. Top 32 provided us some great action and insight to how the drivers have been preparing for this moment coming into the weekend. We saw a great round of qualifying yesterday with some notables sticking out on top and a few new faces as well that have lent some surprises. But Ryan, now that we have the top 32 underway and we're about to begin the top 16, what's your impression so far of the class of 2019?
So far, so good, Ryan. It's looking pretty bright. I think we have a great group of drivers here, and it looks like Mr. Iwata actually had to turn a few people away this year because so many people are interested in competing, which is really cool to see.
Good sign.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens at Ebisu, what kind of driver turnout we'll have there, if things will change. Potentially they could, as the driver grouping tends to change from track to track with this series, just in terms of how far they have to travel and how involved they want to be throughout the series. But I'm sure things will get modified a little bit as we go along.
The only thing that's really changed, and it's only changed within the past few moments, is there's been a slight wind kicking up here and a little bit of moisture in the air. I don't think it's going to wreak any havoc on us, and certainly don't see anything in the forecast that shows that we're going to get some rain, whether it's spotty or not. But nonetheless, that's been really the only conditions. It's been kind of like this the whole weekend. A little bit overcast, light humidity. It's been pretty good drifting weather for the most part, and we've seen the guys take advantage of it with some really smoky high-speed runs. And the guys that seem to be sticking out the most to me are the ones that can figure out that initiation to outside zone 1 and 2 and really getting those and the timing of that correct. Your thoughts?
That is the key to this track. In qualifying, we laid out a lot of points for outside zone 1 and 2, especially outside zone 2. Outside zone 1 for line was 5 points. Or sorry, outside zone 1 for line was 5 points. For angle, it was 10 points. Outside zone 2, on the other hand, was 15 points for line and 10 points for angle. So you're looking at a majority of the points right there on zone 1 and 2, and that's right in front of us here in the judges tower. So it's something that's very easy for us to see in terms of the way that the drivers initiate, the angle that they achieve, and how deep they get into each zone. Not something you can trick or cheat at all. So it's one that we're keeping an eye on here in tandem as well. And the drivers, as we predicted, that are going to be moving on are the ones that can fill outside zone 2 consistently and accurately from round to round.
The track that we have here really has two areas that we've predictably seen crashes in, not only in practice but also in qualifying, and that really is outside zone 1 and 2. Outside zone 2 does have this big tire barrier here, and we've seen a few drivers go in there. But really, you mentioned the timing, getting outside zone 1 correct and leading that into 2. Do you think that drivers from top 32 into top 16 will adjust their strategy, thinking about ways to attack this course, knowing that those sections have become so important in the overall results?
I think a lot of what the drivers do depend on what the spotters tell them. Hopefully they're using their spotters here. We've seen an influx of spotters in the last couple of seasons here. I don't know if they didn't take it seriously before or if it was just a lack of knowledge about the spotter position, let's say, in a team. Maybe they didn't have enough personnel, but they've really allocated a lot of their time and energy to their spotters. Now, the spotters are going to be very important, whether they're listening to the live stream or whether they're watching live. They could hear what we're saying, because we do give some insight into what's going on, what drivers are doing wrong, what they're doing right. And hopefully, if their driver's not really getting out to that outside zone 2, they're going to say, hey, listen, the drivers or the judges are making a big they're talking about this a lot on the live stream. They're making a big deal about it, so you should probably get out there and adjust the way that they're driving. Now, the drivers that made it through top 32 by not achieving outside zone 2, if there were any, it's not because they weren't getting out there that they won. It's despite that fact. So the other driver may have made a larger error. They may have spun or gone off course or something like that, and it allowed a driver to sneak through that is not really achieving outside zone 2. But going forward, if a driver's not doing that, I'm pretty sure they won't go much further than top 16.
Now we're starting to see the drivers line up here. We've got a tradition in Formula Drift Japan where we line up the competitors against each other in the top 16 ceremonies. The Japanese commentators that are doing the live commentating here and also to the Japanese broadcast will introduce the drivers to the fans here on site and also on the live stream. And joining us to your left, Ryan, we have Judge Andy Yen from the U.S. Series, and then we also have our driver steward who has been a staple in the U.S. for a long, long time, Robbie Nishida. He is the third judge and also one of the Japanese commentators. So that's everybody that's on our side up here in the judges tower, and then off to our right, as you mentioned, Ryan, we have the spotter stand where all of the spotters that drivers have assigned are hanging out and hopefully getting good information about their competitors. So we're just about to start the top 16. We are under the queue of our Japanese friends over here from FD Japan letting us know what's going on as all these cars line up. And a beautiful set of cars. The Japanese styling, always something that I think everybody really appreciates. And a great diversity of vehicles in this top 16 lineup and in the 2019 field in general, especially when it comes to the tire manufacturers. And a lot of new manufacturers coming in this year. Tire regulations in Formula Drift Japan are vastly different than in the U.S., and so manufacturers bring all kinds of tires to test out here for drifting performance. So you'll certainly see drivers and teams testing out new things quite often as we line up the last few cars here to kick off the opening ceremonies.
It's a beautiful lineup, Brian.
Very colorful.
It is.
So there we are right there in the Formula Drift Japan tent. That's about where we're located, just on the outside of zone number 2, right above the tire wall. And this is a high action area. It's not uncommon to get sprayed with bits of tire and different pieces as drivers come flying through this section. There's a light breeze in the air right now that has picked up a little bit from the top 32. And it definitely has made for really good viewing for us, along with the addition of an overhead drone to really get some good perspective, especially on those last 2 inside clips, Ryan, as the cars are driving away from us. It really does help quite a bit. And when you have a stagnant air and the smoke not moving, it's hard to see. So this is ramping up to be really good conditions overall for a drifting event here. As we see some of the fans and family members coming out on course to join the top 16 ceremonies. We will wait patiently for our cue from our Japanese counterparts, and then we'll get things underway. So Ryan, as Japanese commentators lead us in, we take a look at our first battle here. We'll provide as much commentary as we think is needed to ramp things up. It's always nice to hear our Japanese counterparts as well go a little bit wild and crazy. Andrew Gray and Daisuke Hara, the #1 qualifier versus the 17th place qualifier. A little bit of an upset taking out Kenji Yamada. And it looks like we're getting the the signal for the national anthem.
And there you have it.
All right, so now the action starting to pick up here as we get ready for the top 16 introductions. And as we mentioned, Ryan, before the national ceremonies, this is our first pair, as is Japanese tradition, lining up both drivers next to each other. We've got Andrew Gray taking on Daisuke Hara.
Andrew Gray from Scotland, Daisuke Hara from Hiroshima. Of course, Andy Gray doesn't live in Scotland now. He lives up in Fukushima.
A dream for many a young drifter.
Yes, absolutely. But he still has that thick Scottish accent and does speak a little bit of Japanese.
Our next pair up here is Tomoki Tanaka versus Hayato Miyoshi. Miyoshi, probably the favorite of the two. However, Tomoko Tanaka did upset Shoya Saito in his battle in the top 32.
Miyoshi is from Gifu, and Tanaka is from Kumamoto.
And here's a guy we've been talking about a lot this weekend, Wataru Masuyama. Has gotten through the top 32 jitters and continues his streak here, but he's got quite a powerhouse up against Shinji Minowa, who is the second place finisher, or was the second place finisher in 2018. And so that's going to be a tough top 16 battle for both those guys.
Masuyama is from Tochigi and Minowa is from Tokyo.
And moving right along to Benjamin Chiam taking on Kazuya Matsukawa. Benjamin Chiam looking really strong this weekend, and we saw Matsukawa take out Yasuhiro Takaki in the top 32 with that AE85.
Benjamin Chiam from Singapore, and Matsukawa is from Hiroshima as well.
And of course, the young kid, Kanta Yanaguida, the number 2 qualifier, just being knocked out by Andrew Gray on his second run. He's going to be taking on Kazuka Hayashi.
Yanaguida from Osaka, and Hayashi is from Yamaguchi.
Yeah, and there he is, Koichi Yamashita. He's going to be taking on Yoshitaka Ogane in our second battle on the right-hand side of the bracket. Both drivers coming together with some great runs. Yin Hirino was the competitor against Ogane. He knocked him out, and Shinichiro Saito was the competitor that Koichi Yamashita defeated. Everybody knows Katsuhiro Ueno, a legend in the sport. He's going to be taking on Yuji Saito. And Naoto Suinaga is going to be taking on Yuichi Yamagai. Suinaga looking strong this weekend, making a casual appearance in the event. He'll do one-offs from time to time. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your top 16 here at the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship Round 1 Suzukatwin Circuit out here in Mie Prefecture. We'll release the drivers back, Ryan, and we'll get things started right underway. A great event on hands. Quite a few people out here. This is the biggest event that I think I've seen at Suzukatwin. So packed hot pit and paddock, and quite a few fans lining this really cool setup here. It has a Road Atlanta style type vibe from the fan perspective. There's a number of different hills that have been kind of cut out in different sections where people can hang out and bring their chairs on both sides of the track, so depending on where you'd like to view. And it's a really cool setup. We're basically in the middle of the forest out here, a few miles away from the big Suzuka circuit, and right on the coast, about 4 or 5 hours outside of Tokyo. And we've been coming here for just about, I think, 5 years. And this has always been the first stop, and it's been a good one. So drivers heading back, Ryan. We'll let the sweet sounds of the cars take us to the hot pits, and then we will get things underway. All right, and we are back here at the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship Round 1 Suzukatwin Circuit. Let's rock and roll. Let's do this, Ryan Lantane.
Okay, Ryan Sage, I'm ready to go. I don't see any cars, though.
Usually these guys are really good about efficiency and quickness. So when we get the 30-second count in, I'm assuming that as soon as it goes live, we see cars in that burnout box.
I hope that's the case, Ryan.
So there's Andrew Gray, your number 1 qualifier, coming through with that 97 on his second run of the day, just topping out of a 96 that Kanta Yanaguida had. He'll be on the other side of the bracket. Left side of the bracket, Ryan, pretty stacked. We've got Gray, we've got Miyoshi, Minowa, Chiam as some of the top guys. On the right-hand side of the bracket, Yanaguida, Yamashita, Ueo, Suinaga. So pretty evenly stacked on both sides. We'll see how things go. Minowa and Gray have had many battles. If they do well in their top 16 and grade 8 battles, they would meet in the final 4. We got Miyoshi, who has had some really incredible initiations. He's going to be taking on Tanaka in the second battle of the top 16. the winner of that would face the winner of Gray and Hata. So we'll see how this bracket develops as we move along here.
Masuyama's been throwing down some great initiations.
Indeed.
Manoa has in the past been very aggressive at this track, and others. He's been not as aggressive here at this track this weekend. He didn't qualify as high as we've seen him in the past. I believe we've seen him qualify in first position in the past. Last season he finished second overall, and yesterday he qualified 13th. He had a score of 86. Not a bad score, but 10 to 11 points off the top qualifiers. So not the performance that we're used to seeing from him. It is a new car, same chassis as usual, but brand new car. And you know what they say, it could be the same chassis as your previous car, but it doesn't mean that it's going to feel the same way. So maybe he's just adjusting to this this new car that he needs to get accustomed to. We'll see how he plays out here in top 16 against Masuyama, who's we have seen great things from him in qualifying in the past. He hasn't always translated that into a great top 32, top 16 performance, but today he made himself, got himself to top 16. So we'll see how these two are going to match up, how they're going to play off each other, if they're able to really live up to their potential that we have seen in the past.
Yeah, no question about it. It'll be a good indication of how this 2019 season is going to play out, seeing how people adjust to the conditions that we have here this weekend, which are essentially perfect. I mean, the weather is really held, and we've seen very little heat variance, which has given the track a certain level of consistency.
True.
And now we prepare for our first battle in the top 16. Andrew Gray, the #1 qualifier, will take the lead here against Daisuke Hata. And we are off, folks. First battle underway. Blasting through that front straight is Andrew Gray, hitting that outside zone 1 off and really filling that second outside zone. Daisuke Hata trying to make work of it, but he is falling behind as Gray, ripping through the S's, starts pulling ahead towards the finish line. And that will be advantage Gray in my mind. Ryan, walk us through this first run.
What a great lead run. Watching the way he went from outside zone 2 that he filled to inside clip 1 was perfect. So look at that initiation. Pretty good on outside zone 1, really good on outside zone 2. Nice and tight. You can see here he's close to the inside as he approaches inside clip 1, which means he's not going way out wide and having to reach in to get that clip. So that's the preferred line through there. Nice and smooth. And now, of course, we do have the drone footage coming up. So you're going to be able to see from above what's going on, looking at the way that Andrew Gray is nice and smooth. The angle is consistent in his car. Getting to inside clip 1 right there. And unfortunately for Hata, he was not able to keep up to Andrew Gray. And Andrew Gray was not doing anything that would be deemed trying to get away from the chase driver. He was filling the zones at angle where he was supposed to, and he did a great job in the lead. So Hata had all the opportunity to stay close to him and do a good job in the chase, which he kind of fell back on. So we'll see what happens with Andrew in the chase now.
Here we go, second run. Daisuke will lead this time. Andrew pacing him down the front straight. Early initiation for Daisuke. Big e-brake pull, but back on throttle. Nice job on outside zone 2. But look at Gray. In form, backs off a little bit, then transitions back around. Final turn. Gray noses in. Looks like a little bit of a tire drop there potentially. But keeping the aggression. Good execution from Daisuke on that first outside zone. Here we go on the replay.
You can see that the fact that Andrew was really fast in the lead is causing him a little bit of trouble in the chase now that he has a lot of grip behind a slower car. So you can see him surging, especially right here as he comes by inside clip 1. He kind of surges forward, falls back, surges forward, fall back. And then right here as he falls back, he actually drops a tire on the inside there just before the finish line. You're going to be able to see it a little bit better here as we look at the drone footage from way up high. In the lead position there, Hata did a good job outside zone 2, but Andrew Gray is definitely a lot closer in terms of proximity than Hata was when he was in the chase position. So the only thing you'd have to look down upon there, for Gray is that he dropped a tire at the finish.
So scores coming in as we make the first battle official. Thank you for joining us here wherever you are viewing from. We've got the live stream on Facebook, also on the FD website. as well as the FD.JP Japanese broadcast, as Andrew Gray claims a scalp there against Daisuke Hara. He'll be knocked out of the top 16. A good run for him, and Gray moves on into the grade 8.
So Gray needs to work on that chase if he's going to be following slower cars. He's got to be maybe giving them a little bit of room in the beginning and then catching up midway through, as opposed to being very close early and having trouble staying behind that car, because just because you have a fast, grippy car up front doesn't give you any kind of leeway in terms of, gripping up in the chase position. So it's something you need to be aware of. And it looks like we did get some debris on the track from Andy Gray's tire drop there.
Oh boy.
And we're just going to send out our little track vacuum to clean that up.
Usually we're on comms with the production and we could tell them, hey, let's get a shot of that. But so I don't know if that's going to do any good. But we have a nice floor cleaner coming out.
Pretty efficient. It does a good job, especially when we have all that rubber on the ground, big chunks and everything between the events.
But the brooms are my favorite, however.
Yes, those are pretty great. But this guy's going to come along and vacuum all this up, and it's going to be quick and efficient. He's just not the quickest getting out to the actual dirty area there on the track.
All right, so cleanup on aisle 7 taking place here as we will get our next 2 competitors prepared to enter the burnout box. That is our 3rd battle down the row, Masuyama versus Minowa. There's Ogane and a couple other drivers preparing. The 2 at the line right now are the next 2 up, Tomoki Tanaka and Hayato Miyoshi. And if you're familiar with Miyoshi, you'll know that he really does have an extremely nasty initiation from time to time, and out in the lead position. And given that this is the top 16 and worth quite a bit, I'm sure we'll see him pull it out. So just a few more moments here as we see the track officials starting to walk away. Looks like we've got all the mess cleaned up.
I'm really sad they cut away from the cleaning procedures just as the track cleaner pulled up there.
Yeah.
I'd like everybody to see this.
Looks like he's making a second pass.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes we are left in the dark. We see something happening, but we can't really be told.
So this battle, we have the 9th place qualifier Miyoshi against Tanaka, who qualified 25th. So he upset the driver that he was up against, who had qualified 8th in the top 32. So now we have 9th versus 25th. And in terms of the spread there in points, the 25th place qualifier was an 80-point score, and the 9th place qualifier was an 89. So not too much.
Oh, come on, boys.
They went for a 3rd and a 4th pass, Ryan.
Yes. See. Show us. We want to see. We can see. You guys can't see, unfortunately. It's extremely exciting. He's driving at
breakneck speed.
Yes, a furious pace.
We need to get a drone with a vacuum on it so we can just fly it in, clean it up, and it can fly away. Reminds me of the little vacuum guy from Wall-E. If you remember that guy that was going around cleaning the floors behind Wall-E as he was running around? Just a bigger version of that with a man riding it.
And in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Slow that down a little.
1. You guys are missing all the fun action. I really wish we could tell the producers to give you that shot next time. All right, it looks like we are underway or about to be underway here. First battle between these 2 competitors, Miyoshi and Tanaka. I see the thumbs up, and it looks like we are ready to go. And they're off. Miyoshi out of the gate through the chicane. Clean start there, no red flag. Here we go. Let's watch the initiation. He snaps to the wall. Throws it right there, right on the outside edge of outside zone 1. Hits outside zone 2. Big angle from Tanaka in the chase. And he really makes a mistake as he has to unwind it. And another reduction of angle there. So Miyoshi getting the better of the first exchange. And let's take a look at this initiation and how Miyoshi executed, and also the mistake made in the chase position by Tanaka.
So as you see Miyoshi running up to the initiation point, he gets mid-track, flicks the car in, nice and sideways there. Great job on outside zone 2 as well. And this is exactly what you were talking about earlier. Tanaka does make a mistake right there, drops a tire, straightens up considerably, and then loses angle by inside clip 2 as well. So Miyoshi did a good job. Let's watch it from the eye in the sky. As he gets the car to angle, gets nice and close to outside zone 1, and not right up on the wall, but pretty darn close. Outside zone 2 did a great job, left it right where he should, and that's that big correction from Tanaka in the chase position. It's going to be potentially incomplete from the judges. I kind of do myself, but I can't speak for the other two, how they view the significance of that straighten right there.
And let's just briefly remind everybody watching at home about this track relative to USA rules. We basically use the same judging rules and very little decel area here at this track.
Yeah, drivers should be on throttle the majority of the time.
All right, here we go. Tanaka leads. Nice job on initiation. Couple little movements with the front wheels, but Miyoshi not letting him get away. He tucks up in the pocket as Tanaka goes wide, leaving outside zone 2. But an extremely quick car there by Tanaka. And you hate to think that he left some on the table in his chase run, because that lead run started off pretty phenomenal.
It did. Looking at what he did on initiation was pretty impressive. I don't think we've seen this from Tanaka yet. He got almost 90 degrees with that wall.
Wow.
Did miss outside zone 2, unfortunately, and because of that, ended up going pretty wide here. About mid-track. Should have been a little bit closer to the inside of the track before inside clip 1. But Miyoshi did a good job in the chase position, despite the lead car missing a couple of big major points of the track.
All right, so let's make it official. Hayato Miyoshi receives all 3 scores in his direction from the judges' car. 3-4-4 is moving on into the grade 8. All right, so another highly anticipated battle as we see our first competitor making his way up to the start line. That is Wataru Masuyama, car number 530. Qualified 4th. He's always up in the top 5. Has had a few number 1 qualifications. But, Ryan, as we talked about in the top 32, the criticism levied toward him really has been about he hasn't been able to take that qualifying skill and kind of do what James Dean and Frederick Osbo have done in head-to-head opportunities. He has not really been able to translate that, so to speak. We did see him get a pretty good win that showed some confidence, especially in his chase run, which is what we were looking for or wanting to know. But now he's got really stiff competition here by the nature of how things have lined up with Shinji Minowa, the number 2 driver in the series in 2018.
Yeah, both 2JZ-powered cars with significant amount of power, I'd say, from both. This should be a pretty good battle. They're both very aggressive drivers. Like you had said earlier, Masuyama can put down those great qualifying runs. Can he really make it work in tandem? We haven't seen that from him always in competition. But he may have a chance here because Shinji has not been on his A game this weekend so far. So here we go.
Masuyama, let's watch the approach. Nasty, rolling into it, big angle, and really on throttle back early. But Minowa looks like he is now starting to surge and get comfortable in that vehicle. He transitions back around. He's starting to tuck up on the inside, reduces the angle a little bit, but keeps the pressure on. And another quality lead from Masuyama. Let's break it down here. I thought Minowa got the timing on the initiation really well as well. Yeah,
look at that flick from Masuyama. Really great job getting it to big angle very early. Like you said, back on throttle, fills outside zone 2. But Minowa is right there with him. He's following him. He's mimicking him pretty well, except that transition right there could have been, he started it at the same time, but it looked like he did it a lot slower and maybe didn't get the line quite right going out to trying to get into inside clip 1. You can see the angle doesn't really match there from Minowa, although he did get sideways at the right point. Minowa's matching his line really well there in the right position, but you can see that transition from Minowa was really lacking coming to inside clip 2. So he left some opportunities there, didn't really use what he could have, unfortunately. Maybe focus a little too much on really close proximity while avoiding or ignoring maybe the angle side of things, where he should have been focusing a little bit more on kind of a combination of both.
All right, second half of the battle here. Shinji Minowa now the lead driver. How is Masuyama going to acclimate? So far, so good. As both drivers hit that second outside zone. Masuyama on the throttle trying to come through the smoke line. Minowa trying to leave him in the dust, but look at Masuyama. Great job there and a very competitive battle. That is a stiff improvement from Masuyama year over year. Let's take a look here at run number 2.
Yes, it is, Ryan. It looks like Masuyama's been doing some practicing in the offseason. Look at his initiation, really well timed, mimicking exactly what Minowa is doing in the lead. Minowa leaves inside zone 2 a little bit early, and as he comes through inside clip 1, you can see Masuyama's right there, mimicking exactly what he's doing, much better on the transition and matching the line. He didn't drop a tire like Shinji did in his chase run in that same position. So in terms of matching angle, chase to lead, look at that, much better than Minowa was, and he gets nice and close there as they come to inside clip 1, mimicking him really well, following him step for step. So I think Masuyama did a much better job, and clearly he has upped his game.
This is a situation where Minowa may have had greater proximity with more duration, but made some mistakes, and the proximity
compromises.
Made some compromises, yeah. Right. Whereas the chase from Masuyama was very clean and still really relatively close.
Yep.
Had that moment where he tightened up really close here, but it goes to show you, and I don't know how this result is going to go, but I'm getting the sense that you guys are potentially leaning towards Masuyama. So let's make it official. And there goes Ryan Lantane. One more time from Robbie Nishida, and Andy Yen is the deciding vote, and it goes to Wataru Masuyama. And you can see Robbie Nishida wanted to see it one more time, but both of the U.S. judges going in favor of Masuyama.
Yeah, looking at what we're kind of just talking to Andy and Robbie here real quick, just to, because Robbie's got to do the Japanese announcing as well, so we're trying to get a feel
Hold on
of.
1 second, Ryan. Yeah. Yes, we're getting pit rapota. All right.
フォーミュラ D では1回も勝ったことなくて毎回混ぜてたんで本当に嬉しいです。もう今日行くとこまで行ってやります。応援してください。おめでとうございます。応援しております。
So he's very excited because he's never beat Shinji Minowa before.
All I saw was a sign pointed towards me that said PIT pit dash REPOTE.
Yeah, pit reporter.
I knew that meant pit reporter.
Yeah. Good translation, right? Yeah, so Masuyama's very excited because he's never beat Minowa in competition before. So this is his first time in all the different series that they've run in, and of course in FD Japan as well.
Well, you know, that is a big accomplishment for him, especially last year where I think his chase runs were a letdown to him, and he has made some strong improvements. But let's move right along to our next battle. Benjamin Chiam and Kazuya Matsukawa. David and Goliath battle here. Here goes Benjamin Chiam. He floats it out to that second outside zone. Matsukawa does not want to let him get away, but Chiam gets on the throttle, ripping through the course, and a little bit of separation there towards the end. Let's take a look at the line. It looked like he was driving the correct line there, not trying to get away.
He did a great job in the lead position. Oh, the chase driver looks like he hit a cone in the chicane. So the lead driver, Chiam, nice and wide, outside zone 1 and 2. He actually went a tire slightly over the line there. He did a great job of staying at angle. You can see the chase driver there. Hopefully we get the drone shot just to see the angle that he went through inside clip 1 with, and this is perfect. This will help us see a lot of the things that happened on course that we couldn't see through the smoke. So Benjamin Chiam, nice and wide there. You can see that Matsukawa right here drops a little bit of angle twice, and going by inside clip 1, very low angle. And having a hard time keeping up with Benjamin, despite that 1GR engine that he has in that AE85. That's the 4-liter V6 from an FJ Cruiser, so it's a pretty sizable engine for that little car. And it looks like we're going to have to change it up here and see if Benjamin's car is really fast or if Matukawa just made a mistake in the chase. Now that we changed positions, kind of like with Andy Gray earlier, you've got a potentially faster grip your car in the chase. How's he going to adapt?
Right. Well, let's watch that adaptation here. Nice flick. Oh, he's off outside zone 1. Better on outside zone 2. Benjamin Chiam is using that power and grip to stick it right to the back bumper. Both drivers very tight on that first inside clip. Look at Benjamin Chiam really pushing the pace there through the finish line, not letting off. And it just looks like he overpowered a bit there in this second run.
Yeah, so it may be a case of a much faster Supra in the chase position now, and how well is he really adapting to what the lead driver's doing. You can see the lead got into outside zone 2, but not 1. Benjamin Chiam maybe did a little bit better on 1, but missed 2. And as they transition here, Benjamin had a bit of a bobble, dropped a tire there, but I hope we get the, yes, we are going to get it. So looking here at the overhead shot from the drone, you can see Matukawa in the lead position, off outside zone 1. Benjamin then misses outside zone 2, gets nice and close there, coming by inside clip 1. Matukawa not really running with a whole lot of angle through there, but pours it on through the second portion of the inside clip area.
The smoke line perturbations are really apparent from that shot up there. You can really see when they are spinning the tires at a very high wheel speed as opposed to kind of letting it float out or just moderating the throttle. Let's make it official here. Benjamin Chiam versus Kazuya Matukawa. Another one more time from Robbie Nishida, but again, very same voting record of the last battle. It is going to go majority to Benjamin Chiam. Did you want to say something? You're looking at me like I said something retarded.
No, not at all. Just looking at you, Ryan. You look good. Admiring your beautiful vocal skills here. So who's up next, Ryan? We have Yanaguida and Hayashi.
Well, up next is CM. So we're going to take a quick break. G-Shock presents Formula Drift Japan Round 1 Suzukatwin Circuit. We'll take a quick break and be right back for the second half of the top 16. All right, and we're back here at the G-Shock presents Formula Drift Japan Championship Round 1 Suzukatwin Circuit. Probably going to say that 30 times. Got it memorized.
Don't even need to read it anymore, do you?
Yeah, it's there. We have made our way halfway through the top 16. Andrew Gray, Miyoshi, Masuyama, and Benjamin Chiam are all now in the grade 8. So we swing ourselves over to the right-hand side of the bracket.
As the sun comes out, Ryan.
As the sun comes out, it gets a little bit warmer. And this is the first time I think we've actually seen the sun this weekend. It's mostly been overcast, so I wonder if that will affect tire temps and track temps and things of that nature. But let's get right into our next battle. Kanta Yanaguida taking on Kazuki Hayashi. Yanaguida, again, qualified number 2, has been looking really strong. The car seems to have a little bit more pep in its step this year. And I think that was the one thing that they wanted to try and remedy from last year, is that in some instances he seemed to be a little bit underpowered relative to other cars. So we'll see if those fixes have been made in the offseason. You can see Hayashi warming up his tires. He has also had some marked improvement in his driving from 2018. Came in as the kind of mid-pack, 15th place in qualifying. But a lot of hype on the young Kanta Yanaguida. Many people watching his rise. Came out with a large group to Irwindale last year, about 15 strong contingent from Formula Drift Japan to watch the final round of the U.S. Championship, and really wants to get to the U.S. someday competitively. So don't be surprised if you see him at some point.
He does have that American flag on the door, Ryan.
He does. He's giving us a
bit of a sign, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Kanta finished the season last year in 7th overall, and Hayashi finished in 21st overall. The season is young right now, but they have the whole season to try to work their way up to the top, and it looks like we're ready to go for this battle right now.
Yanaguida comes flying out of the gate. Hayashi tracking him down. Early initiation there, beautifully executed from outside. Oh no, Hayashi going deep, losing the bumper, and we are seeing a little bit of debris on the course from Hayashi. His bumper, I think, was taken out by hitting the tire wall right here in front of us ever so slightly. It did have a slight impact, but let's take a look at it in a little bit more fine-grained way.
Great initiation from Yanaguida right here, nice and perpendicular to that wall. Hayashi got dangerously close to that tire wall there. He actually dragged a set of tires onto the track that his bumper kind of caught as he went by. Definitely went deep there. So watch Yanaguida here, nice and sideways, beautiful job. Hayashi overshot a little bit, lost a bit of angle there as he hit that tire wall as well. Fell behind and hasn't, from that point on, wasn't really able to keep up. Could not catch back up to Yanaguida, and that'll be kind of poor from Hayashi's side in the chase position. Yanaguida now needs to better what he did in the chase position. Hayashi needs to better what Yanaguida did in his lead position. And to do that, Hayashi's going to have to get very close to outside zone 1. He's going to have to be rubbing the center of that back bumper on the wall. Oh, he doesn't have a back bumper anymore. You know what I mean. He needs to be very...
it's going to be the bash bar now.
Bash bar, I guess, yeah. You want to be really perpendicular with that wall as much as possible. Use that angle to get the car positioned properly for outside zone 2. He needs to be more accurate than he was in his chase run, though. Can't drop tires and drag half the wall out into the track with you to make that work.
So Hayashi-san's rear bumper now heads to the start line as the sun really creating a lot of glare. I wonder how much it's affecting the drivers, but it just got really bright really quick. All right, light goes off. Hayashi taking the lead against Yanaguida. Flying down that front straight. Early initiation, slow rolls it. Big e-brake pull, but he misses outside zone 1 and 2. Good adjustment by Kanta Yanaguida. He tucks up on inside in the pocket. Switch back around and stays tight. And Yanaguida, I see the judges shaking their head like that was no matchup there. A mistake from Hayashi taking a tighter line, but Yanaguida quickly adjusts and keeps the proximity on.
Last year, Yanaguida was a bit of a threat. Now Yanaguida, watching what he's doing right here, right now, this is incredible. The amount of mimic that he's doing behind Hayashi, even though Hayashi's not going where he's supposed to, the way that Yanaguida is positioning his car, the way that he's able to move out of the way to let Hayashi make his transition and then reposition himself. Very impressive driving from Yanaguida, from this young man. I think he has a bright future ahead of him if he keeps this up. His progression since we started seeing him a couple of seasons ago in FD Japan has been pretty impressive, and just that battle right there was, wow, very well done.
Well, high remarks there from Ryan Lantain as Yanaguida looks like he's going to be moving forward. Let's make it official here. All three judges go in favor of the young and rising talent from Japan. Kanta Yanaguida moves on into the Great 8. He will be facing the winner of this next battle that is at the line right now, and that is Koichi Yamashita and Ogane. Need double sunglasses.
Oh yeah, it's very bright all of a sudden. What a beautiful day it turned out to be. So Yanaguida is going to go up against the winner of this battle that's coming up right now, between Yamashita and Ogane. 7th place qualifier up against the 10th place qualifier. Oh, we have our pit reporter. Exciting.
カ選手、昨年は16位で敗れていますけれども、今年はいけそうですね。
ありがとうございます。とりあえずそうですね。もっと上目指して頑張ります。
はい、ありがとうございます。頑張ってください。
All right, so some good pit reporting there.
I'm sure some very wise and some elaborate words were spoken.
Some good insight.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Yamashita, Ogane. Yamashita comes down, initiates, slow rolls it. He misses outside zone 1, better on outside zone 2. But Ogane was staying with him through that section of the course. Both drivers trying to transition a little bit less angle there from Ogane through that last section of the course.
Did Ogane straighten before the finish line? It's kind of hard to tell through the smoke, but hopefully the replay will pick it up for us.
It looks like he definitely had some reduction of angle there. I don't know if it went completely to zero axis, but let's take a look at it again one more time from the same shot.
Looking at his initiation, Yamashita is in the lead position. After watching a driver like Yanaguida's initiation, it looks slow. But he did a good job of getting the car to angle in that slow and controlled manner. He did eventually get there. It just wasn't as quick as we'd like to see from him. And then looking at his outside zone 2, not the prettiest. Could have been deeper into outside zone 2 earlier on. But in the chase position, it looked like Ogane made a bit of a mistake going towards inside clip 2 on his angle.
Not the prettiest. How dare you?
Depends who you're talking about, Ryan, you know. Depends who's defending that person and who doesn't like what you're saying.
How dare you?
How dare you?
All right, so switching things up here. Ogane now in the lead position. Second half of the battle underway. Right-hand side of the bracket. 3 battles left after this before we get to the grade 8. Excuse me, 2 battles left. Good gracious.
Bit of a breeze there, Ryan. You might want to hold on to your paperwork.
All right, so it looks like our starter is backing out of the way. We are now set for the second half. Ogane blasting out of the chicane. He is trying to get a lot of speed and does a great job on that. Very deep. That first outside zone executed well. The second a little bit too deep. Yamashita trying to make some adjustments here. And you can see Ogane goes very wide on that last inside clip, and that was an opportunity for Yamashita to take advantage of it and get up on the inside.
Ogane came very deep into outside zone 2. I heard you make a little noise there, Ryan, like you got a little worried. Got in there early, overshot it a little bit, but managed to stay off the tire wall. Correction and angle right there coming into inside clip 1. Yamashita was with him all along, though. Didn't let him get away. Are we going to get an overhead shot on this one? We're not. So I believe all the votes are in. We're just going to wait and see what the outcome is.
All right, scores are in. Let's see how the judges reacted, and that is enough to get the win. Koichi Yamashita, after the big mistake by Ogane in the chase position, looks like he is going to be smooth sailing into the grade 8.
Who's up next, Ryan? We have Ueo and Saito.
Yeah, nice battle up ahead next.
Third place qualifier Ueo against 14th place qualifier Saito. And it's not that Saito, if you're wondering. It's one of the other 3 Saitos we had competing this weekend. Apparently Saito is a popular last name in Japan. Maybe it's the Japanese Smith.
Saito making his way up to join Ueo at the starting line. Ryan, one thing that's been evident with Ueo this weekend is he is extremely fast and not afraid to throw it sideways at that first outside zone. So
he throws it with reckless abandon, and somehow the car sticks, and as wild as it looks, he makes it work. Gets through outside zone 1. We have seen him miss on a couple of occasions, though. It's not always as accurate as one would hope, I guess. But we'll see how he is able to pull it together now.
Here we go, Ueo, and you can see that car just shifting through the gears. Good initiation, slow rotation, but nice job on the line. Saito trying to get through the smoke line. He comes bouncing through inside clip 1, reduction of angle through inside clip 2. And it wasn't the quick rate to angle initiation that we have been seeing from Ueo, but it was still pretty solid. He was flying down that front straight into initiation.
Yeah, we built that initiation way up, and then he ended up not being as aggressive as usual, but he did get the car to a decent amount of angle. You can see there right on the yellow line, the outside line with his tire. Saito did a good job until this point, but unfortunately lost a little bit of angle there, and at the very last inside clipping point, it looked like he also had low angle. We do get an overhead shot for this one, which is phenomenal. So, as you see them coming up to initiation, you'll see that Ueo is not getting that initiation that we're used to seeing from him. But Saito here, there was a bobble from the lead car as well at that point. You see Saito in the chase position. Actually didn't look as bad from up top. Maybe he did better than we thought.
Well, that's what we have all the cameras for.
Yes, sir.
For you to make your analysis. All right, so mixing things up here. Both drivers back at the line. Ueo coming off a highly anticipated battle with Kazuya Iizuka, the wide body Audi that everybody wanted to see drift. Pretty awesome build. Here is Saito. He throws it up against the wall, a little bit short, but deep into outside zone 2. Ueo about half a car length back, now starting to put the pressure on. But Saito getting through this course pretty well. Oh no, there goes Ueo offline and loses some ground there towards the end. Let's take a look at it one more time. And a bit of a back and forth battle with both drivers making a couple little mistakes.
Yeah, it doesn't look like either one of them is being as precise and accurate as they have been or could be. I liked his initiation here. Saito did a good job in the lead position, getting the car sideways. Missed zone 1, did great in outside zone 2. As he transitions here, you can see Ueo actually had a bit of a correction there on angle when he was rotating the car to get to inside clip 2. So here's our overhead shot that we all love so much. Yeah, good initiation from Saito there. Gets to the outside of that zone, to the line, which is what we're looking for. Low angle at inside clip 1, but managed to get out there anyway. Yeah, so in the lead position, looks like he made a couple of compromises there. And Ueo, his proximity varied slightly, but did a good job. Yeah.
All right, so the judges putting their results in. It looks like we do have an official result coming through. Let's go ahead and put it up and find out who's moving on. 1 for Ueo, 2 for Ueo. That'll be enough. And it's a one more time from Judge Andy Yen. Thought it was a bit too close to call. So it will be a majority vote in favor of Katsuhiro Ueo moving on into the Great 8. And now it looks like we've got our next battle in the Great 8, in the top 16 rather, setting up our next competitor to go into the Great 8. And this will be the final battle of the top 16. Last position available.
And this is our lowest qualified driver still in competition right now. I'm a guy.
Yep.
Qualified 27th. And then the next lowest is actually Suinaga, the driver he's going up against, which is position 11. So that's an 88 from Suinaga in qualifying. And Amagai had a 78. Interesting.
All right, so here we go. The battle is quickly underway. Suinaga will take the lead. Let's take a look at the initiation. He's blowing down the front straight. Huge gap established. And he is really running the criteria to the max while still maintaining a solid gap between him and Amagai. And Ryan, no real tandem there on that one. Amagai did not get a good jump out of the gate, and Suinaga was just blasting through the course right from the starting line.
Yeah, I wonder what happened there. Did he have too much wheel spin? Did he miss a shift? Suinaga in the lead position. Great job getting the car to angle. Outside zone 2 was well done. But Amagai, low angle, 0 proximity, unfortunately. Not really looking good for him at the moment. But great job by Suinaga up in the lead.
All right, so we'll mix things up here. I think that was the biggest disparity we've seen so far in competition in terms of the distance between the two vehicles on one of the 2 laps. So you have to wonder what type of strategy is Suinaga spotter going to tell him that he should put together here. Seems like a little bit of a questionable situation where it's hard to know how much pressure to put on Amagai, given how far away they were on that first run.
Yeah, how much pressure do you put and where?
And when.
Right, when, where, on the track. Good point. It's a difficult one. You don't want to give the lead driver too much room. You might never catch him again. You might get away. But if you don't give enough room, you might not have any room to drift yourself.
Amagai initiates right outside the first outside zone, better on the second outside zone. But I think Suinaga's got this dialed in. He is locked on that back bumper, switches back around, one turn left to go, and that should solidify it. A very persuasive case by Suinaga in our last battle in the top 16. And that should set the field, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Gray, Miyoshi, right. Masuyama, Benjamin Chiam, Yana Guida, Yamashita, Ueo, and Suinaga, I would imagine, Ryan, is going to get the win here.
I would also imagine that, Ryan. Looking at the replay, Amagai didn't do a terrible job, but he missed some key points. Did that very wide line from outside zone 2 into inside clip 1, which he didn't really achieve. But Suinaga did a great job of following him everywhere he went, despite not really being online.
Unanimous vote goes the way of Naoto Suinaga, car number 26. He will fill the final position in the Grade 8. We will go to a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We'll start the Grade 8, and then we're flowing all the way to the finals. This is the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship, round 1 here at Suzukatwin Circuit. And we are back here at the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship, round 1, Suzukatwin Circuit. We're into the Grade 8, Ryan, and it is the number 1 qualifier up against the number 9 qualifier. Gray versus Miyoshi. A good battle here. Some people think there's only a handful of drivers that can really beat Andrew Gray, even in the best conditions, and a locked-in Gray is a dangerous Gray. There's really no question about that. Multiple championships in the series. Basically lives at a track,
yes,
and one of the more world-famous tracks. So he is a drifter's drifter, more ways than one. So
he's developed a heck of a set of skills, and also his reaction time and his intuition is phenomenal. So,
and when he competed in the U.S., he did compete in a similar car, but that car was really not as dialed as he would have liked it. He really did not get a true opportunity to show his skill in the U.S., and
right.
For those that got to see it there and have not seen it here, it really is something to bear witness to.
Yes.
All right, Andrew Gray, Miyoshi taking off. Gray blasting right at the edge of outside zone 1. Miyoshi trying to follow him through outside zone 2. But look at Gray. Incredible grip and speed blasting through the course. Miyoshi's going to swing very wide.
Oof. Right
past inside clip number 2. And with the sun out, there's a refraction on the smoke that is really difficult to see. But we'll take another look at it here. I think Miyoshi's going to go very wide, almost off course.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, Andrew Gray, the best part about what he's able to, it's one thing to be able to put one great run together, but to be able to consistently repeat it is another. And he put together a 97 in qualifying. Right here, he's running definitely a run in the 90s in the lead position. So very, very difficult to compete against a guy that's so consistent at such a high level. Looking at his initiation, he gets the angle really well. You can see right on that wall, and then outside zone 2, great job. Miyoshi made a couple of corrections there in terms of angle. Andy, great job getting that inside line to inside clip 1. Miyoshi way wide at inside clip 2. Missed that clip altogether, and proximity-wise, wasn't really much of a tandem to be had through the majority of the track. So Andrew Gray has not a lot of work to do in the chase to outdo Miyoshi's chase, but Miyoshi has a lot of work to do in the lead position right now to outdo what Gray did in his lead run.
All right, let's see that initiation here from Miyoshi. He's got a good one.
Ooh.
Nice angle there. Oh no, Andrew Gray gets held up there. And a very unusual circumstance that we're going to want to go back and take a look at. And even with that mistake, Gray was at his door. But that is going to be probably the defining factor of this battle. Let's take a look at it again.
What happened, Ryan? Looking at what Miyoshi, we have to see what he did in the lead position. Andrew threw the car in there, it didn't look like Miyoshi slowed down, but it looked like Andrew maybe was a little aggressive on initiation and had to get on the brakes, which over-rotated himself and caused him to not be able to continue around that first corner in drift. So thankfully we have the drone view. It's going to give us the best view of what happened here.
Looks like he didn't really get to angle. It's hard to tell the speed of Miyoshi, just because Andrew's so fast. But it looks like Gray just didn't get to angle at the same time and was surging forward, just initially at first pass.
I'm going to ask if we can get that aerial replay one more time.
So judges requesting another replay from the drone, and my initial intuition and seeing what we see, it just looks like maybe Andy was a little bit over aggressive and didn't get to angle in time, and that led him to induce that kind of half spin. So here it is again one more time.
What's that? You want it one more time?
Yeah.
Are we going to send, oh. This isn't live, is it?
That is live. Oh, they say, okay, just a moment, they say.
Just a moment. All right, here we go.
See how he had a lot of forward bite there?
And the car just didn't get sideways.
Didn't really get to angle. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just...
No, that's what I'm seeing also, Ryan. Unfortunate for Mr. Gray.
All right, so a really sticky one here for Andrew Gray, as the judges will have to give us a result now. I mean, that would be an incomplete, I think, if it's judged at the fault of Andrew Gray. So I think here it is. Yes, let's make it official. Oh, and we have a vote for one more time by Ryan, and two in the way of Hayato Miyoshi. So Ryan, you must have been thinking that it was ambiguous about the fault.
No, I just went, Andrew Gray had an incomplete in his chase, and I didn't feel that Miyoshi chased Andrew in his chase run.
I see,
right?
I see.
Was that really a tandem?
Yeah, gotcha.
That's the way I'm going with it. Not trying to give Andrew an advantage in any way or an opportunity, but Miyoshi did, Andrew was aggressive and made a mistake. Miyoshi was not aggressive and was nowhere near him. So, we have a pit reporter coming up live right here, Ryan, which we will not have any information on whatsoever, but we're going to watch them interview Miyoshi.
So Miyoshi is going to be very ecstatic here. He is going to be the beneficiary of the presumed mistake from Andrew Gray, and let's go to our pit reporter. All right, so back at the line here for our next battle. Obviously a disappointed Andrew Gray. And you can see he's talking to some of his friends and teammates there. It is going to be an early outage for him, just making it into the Grade 8. Not a bad way, but when you're chasing a championship, it's got to be Grade 8s or better. So he at least got to that point. We will move on to our next battle, Masuyama versus Benjamin Chiam. This should be a good one.
I wish I knew what Mr. Miyoshi said.
Here we go, Masuyama. That wide swing into initiation, big flick, great angle, misses out. Oh no, oh boy.
Kept it off the wall. Good job. Good
And
job.
2 incidents in a row, back to back. One that resulted in an incomplete from Andrew Gray, but this time we've got contact, or collision rather, in the technical term.
Wow.
Which means we will have to assign fault, and also that will dictate competition timeouts and things of that nature. So Ryan, walk us through what happened here.
So as we watch the initiation, Masuyama, great job getting the angle, and it looks like Benjamin is a little bit too aggressive coming inside, trying to stay really close on initiation, and he ends up making tire-to-tire contact, which sends Benjamin's car into the air. So as we watch from the eye in the sky, see what kind of initiation we've got here. Yeah, you can see low angle from Benjamin, not really getting the car sideways initially as he should have, and getting, not slowing down enough to stay with Masuyama as opposed to running into him.
All right, so presuming with that language being used there by Ryan that that's going to be fault to Benjamin Chiam, which would mean that if there's damage sustained to Masuyama, he would not have to utilize his competition timeout. Benjamin Chiam would. That was the first run, so we will need to visit the second half, but it will be an incomplete for Benjamin Chiam if it does come down with him at fault.
We're going to watch the replay one more time here to try to assess fault. You want to make sure you're making the right call, that you're kind of observing what was the cause of that incident. You want to initially blame the chase car because it looked like he did come in there with low angle and not able to slow down, but you want to make sure that it wasn't the lead car doing something that he shouldn't have been doing. Yeah, and it's unanimous that we all agree that Benjamin is to blame. A little over-aggressive there as he came into the outside zone 2 area. Magically, they both drove off, though. There was some contact. They bounced. Well, Benjamin bounced up as he hit him. The tires kind of, one tire rode up the other one, it looked like. But apparently the damage was not so severe that he couldn't drive off. Masuyama was kind of swaying side to side as he left. It looks like the front end, at first appearance, wasn't too badly damaged. You can see some rubber and some damage on that front wheel, though.
All right, well, with that unanimity, that means that Benjamin Chiam will need to use his competition timeout if he needs to make repairs to his vehicle. Not the case for Masuyama. You can see some of the damage sustained there to both drivers. The team of Benjamin Chiam. An interesting two power vehicles back to back. Not that that means anything, but
what are you getting at, Ryan?
Well, they're all running. They're all running on the same tires, right?
Is there a conspiracy afoot?
Yeah,
yes, they're all on Valinos.
Yeah, and those tires seem to perform really well. A lot of forward grip and some great qualifying yesterday. I wonder how being able to manage speed,
I know what you're saying. When you're behind a slightly slower car, if you have that extra grip level, it's really difficult to stay sideways and not drive into the back of that car. So it's a balance, right? You need to have enough grip, forward bite, to put together a good lead run. But you don't want to have too much, because you know that eventually you're going to go up against a slower car. And even though you may be able to get away from that driver when you're in the lead position and create that gap that everybody seems to want to produce, what happens is when you get in the chase position, you are unable to drive at the slower pace of the other car without straightening up or making some major corrections or compromises. So it's a balance, and sometimes it's difficult. I don't know if the word difficult is right. It's hard for drivers to try to set their cars up in the middle, right? The automatic setting that they want to go to is really fast with a lot of grip. Kind of pulling back sometimes is difficult.
All right, well, we're getting the signal from our track staff that we are going to revisit the second half of that battle.
3 minutes left in the competition timeout.
As you can see, Andrew Gray going over to talk to Benjamin.
What are you doing, mate?
That means that we are going to get right along to the other side of the bracket. Kanta Yanaguida versus Yamashita. We're going to get them in the burnout box and get on with that battle, and then come back to the second half of Benjamin Chiam and Masuyama. All right, so Kanta Yanaguida making his way to the starting line, right underneath the start arch. Yamashita will be the next out of the burnout box, heading up there. Quickly rolling through this top 16 competition, and no shortage of excitement so far. A couple wrecks, some great tandem, one or two cars going off course. Some nice entries, kind of more or less, you know, in line.
Yeah.
That's what you'd expect. And there's Yamashita in the background, warming up his tires. And we'll get this bad boy underway. One driver in the Final Four so far, that is Miyoshi. The weight is leaning in the direction of Masuyama in the Benjamin Chiam side of things so far because of the fault accrued to him, accrued to Chiam. And this is the beginning of the right-hand side of the bracket. We've got Ueo and Suinaga next. All right, we've been given the thumbs up. Here we go. Yanaguida out of the gate, blasting down the front straight. Yamashita holding his distance off to the side, trying to tuck up on the inside. Yanaguida right at the edge of outside zone 1. Makes a little bit of adjustment, and he's going to spin out. And just through the inside, Yamashita is going to make the pass. Now,
beautiful save.
Beautiful save.
Beautiful save.
But Ryan, what happened to Yanaguida out front, and tell us about the rules regarding passing?
Well, in this case, I wouldn't call it necessarily a pass. I would call it an avoidance of contact, and then Yamashita just kept going. But Yanaguida, you could see he had some corrections through outside zone 2. You could see him actually as he went by us here, he was actually sawing at the wheel a little bit, and it looks like the car just became unstable and spun out. Yamashita in that case avoided contact very nicely. He took angle out of the car just before making contact, and he managed to squeeze by without actually hitting him. So right there you can see he just squeezed through. Maybe they had a little touch there, but nothing too major. And at that point the run's over, so neither one of them needs to keep drifting, but they both did anyway. So at that point you've got an incomplete for Yanaguida, and Yamashita will be not held responsible for straightening or doing anything in that situation, because he's just trying to get through the course without hitting the lead driver and then getting to the back to the start line.
All right, will make sense to me.
Yanaguida is at a big disadvantage now.
This is that would be an incomplete.
That is absolutely an incomplete, yeah.
So Yamashita is in a strong position here because he is dictating the pace as the lead driver. Probability is high that he's going to move on, but he's got to execute here. And Yanaguida needs to give everything he's got to try to force an air from Yamashita. Big angle by Yanaguida, pushing it. The chase run looks on fire, and you see what we missed out on because of that mistake. Incredible chase run here, a little bit tight on that final inside clip, but Yamashita did enough to move forward after that mistake by Yanaguida. A great run from Yanaguida in this particular event. Definitely raising some eyebrows and showing some progression from 2018 to 2019. Love that flick, big angle there, but Ryan, unfortunately, that mistake is going to be too much.
Yeah, he unfortunately beat himself in this battle right now. He definitely has the skills to have gone much further in the competition than this. but that error coming through outside zone 2, causing him to over-rotate, kind of signed his fate right there. So he's going to be knocked out here, and Yamashita is going to go on to the Final Four.
All right, so wrapping things up here very quickly in the grade 8, but before we do that, let's make it official here. It's going to swing all 3 judges to the left-hand side. Koichi Yamashita is moving on into the Final Four. And now, Ryan, let's go back to the second half of the battle between Benjamin Chiam and Masuyama.
Now that you see Chiam on the line, I don't need to tell you that he did make his competition timeout. He was able to fix his car within the 5 minutes that he had allotted. As you can see, he is there on the line, ready to go. So we know that he did make it.
Let's remind everybody where we're at in competition. Masuyama was hit by Benjamin Chiam. Chiam was given fault for the contact. He received an incomplete. He also had to use his competition timeout. So now this is the second half of the battle. It's a big advantage for Masuyama. It's a high probability that he moves forward into the Final Four unless there is an incomplete made by him on this particular run. Here we go. Uh-oh. A little bit of a hiccup there on initiation. On start. Benjamin Chiam rolls into it. Good job here. Masuyama keeping him relatively close, doing enough. Uh-oh, Benjamin Chiam straightens out between inside clip 1 and 2. And if it wasn't enough for run number 1, run number 2 definitely is going to make it real clear here. So Ryan, walk us through this second half of this grade 8 battle.
One of the things that Benjamin Chiam does really, really well is get the car to angle through outside zone 1, through outside zone 2, and really rotate the car to the point where you can see right there the angle that he's pulling from outside zone 2, nice and tight on that inside line to inside clip 1. But unfortunately, just beyond that, the car straightens up, and Masuyama is right there to take advantage of it. But, of course, even if Benjamin Chiam did a great job in the lead, he had a big incomplete on his chase run from the prior run. So, in this case, we have to go to Masuyama based on the rules, and because of Benjamin Straighten there, it kind of sealed the deal.
Masuyama takes a victory, unanimous. He moves on into the Final Four. So car 530 having a strong weekend so far at Suzukatwin. Final battle of the grade 8. Katsuhiro Ueno versus Naoto Suinaga. Both drivers have had some really high marks this weekend in a number of different areas. Some great practice runs that we saw, and of course, qualifying treated Ueno a bit better than it did Suinaga. However, Suinaga still just came in right outside the top 10 at number 11. Ueno was our third place qualifier. So right now we have Miyoshi, who was the 9th place qualifier. Masuyama was number 4. Yamashita was number 7. So right now Masuyama is guaranteed a podium unless Ueno
beats Suinaga.
Yep.
That is correct. This should be a good battle. Two very skilled drivers able to put together very aggressive, high-level runs.
Kind of a classic battle here.
It is, yeah.
Kind of an old school battle.
Old school, classic Japanese battle.
All right, here we go. Ueno out of the gate. Suinaga keeping him close. Nice initiation. Oh boy, we're almost gonna have contact again. Oh wow.
That's awesome.
That's
fun
was
stuff right there.
Awesome until it wasn't.
That's fun stuff.
I wish with everything that battle would have continued, because that was the closest we've seen anybody on outside zone 2. Ryan, walk us through it.
I wish I could walk you through it, Ryan. I don't really know what happened there. Let's watch the replay and see what we see. Great initiation from both drivers. Kind of looks like Ueno just did that on his own.
It looks like it almost looks like that little hump pushed him up. He kind of lost a little bit of down pressure on the rear of the vehicle, and thus grip.
Kind of looks like Suinaga was not making contact with him, didn't push him, didn't hit him. Just looks like Ueo lost control. We've seen a couple of drivers do that now.
Let's get the drone on that, because that'll definitely be very apparent. It looked like from the replay, you see the rear of the cars go over outside zone 2. They kind of hop around a little bit, and on that last bigger hop, it looks like the back end just kind of lifted and went out of grip. Yo, do we have the drone? For real? That's fucked up. Get another replay. All right, so judges do need to make a assertion here. Not with regards to contact or anything like that, but at least knowing what happened on that run. No visible contact on the cars. I do think, just like in my first impression, I think that bump got Ueo. He was pretty much at full lock, and as soon as he went over that last big one, it just looked like the rear end gave out.
Apparently there's paint on Ueo's front wheel. But was that pre-spin or during the spin, after the spin?
See, I feel like he's very, very close, but if you look through the smoke, it's hard to see whether or not the front wheel had any impact to Ueo. It doesn't seem like it did. It just seems like that hop is what did it, but you know, that's me. Can we get that replay again, and can we?
Yes, that is what.
Can we get some slow motion?
Currently waiting for here. Darn you, drone! Could have used you this time. Hey, let's just ask the drivers. I'm sure they'll be honest about what happened. Yeah.
Come on, man.
There we go.
Watch the back end.
Yeah, what I was looking at is the front wheels there too. Ueo's front wheels go straight before he does spin.
Here, yeah. Let's watch this. See, I don't. Yeah, see, look through the smoke, right?
This is a tough one, Mr. Sage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Well, I'm making my own mental note in here, what I'm going with.
All right. Here we go, one more time. For the people in the back, and it is tough to see with the shadows and everything.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
What you can prove. So I've given my fault. I don't know what the other guys are doing because I can't hear them with my headset on. But
I mean, this is kind of a weird thing to give fault to, right? Because there's no contact really. It's just you're asserting who basically caused the run to stop.
Yeah. At this point, you're saying that, you know, if Ueo's at fault, then he gets the incomplete.
Yeah.
If you're
exactly.
saying that, what's his name? Suinaga is at fault, then he gets the blame and he gets the incomplete.
Right.
Right. And I don't know. Maybe I can ask. 1 second. So, two judges to one that Suinaga is at fault.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
On what basis?
So Suinaga is calling for a competition timeout, which he had to do to touch his car. So he gets 5 minutes. and the other judges put the blame on Suinaga for going in and bumping. I guess wheel to wheel is what they're saying occurred that caused Ueo to spin. And
how do they know that?
Because they could see Ueo's front wheels go straight right here in front of us, and they assumed that at that point there was a contact front wheel to front wheel, which caused Ueo's front wheels to go straight, which caused him to spin. And I put fault on Ueo personally. I thought he just made a mistake on his own.
That's the way I went.
What was it? Yeah. So it sounds like we're going to commercial, regardless of what's happening here.
Yes, we are going to commercial. We've just been told to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here at the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship Round 1 Suzukatwin Circuit. Back with the winner of Ueo and Suinaga. Back here at the first round of the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship. A controversial run underway here, Ryan.
Having some great debates behind the scenes right now.
Yeah, 2-1. Two judges going in favor, or actually faulting Suinaga, and one judge going in fault of Ueo, and that was you. The other two judges going in the other direction believe that there was wheel-to-wheel contact that induced the spin. So that is going to lead to different results here, just from a logical perspective, because that means two judges are giving an incomplete to one driver, one judge giving an incomplete to the other driver. Depending on what happens on this run, it's really going to dictate how the score lines are going to come about. Here's the second half. Suinaga versus Ueo. Suinaga, big initiation, holds it, outside zone 2. Ueo blasting on the door of Suinaga, very tight. Transitions, falls back now, is not able to regain, but that is what you wanted to see out of both runs. Let's take a look at it one more time, Ryan.
Yep.
And break down what you saw from that completed run.
Great run from Suinaga in the lead position. Did what he was supposed to do. Great angle. Really getting the car positioned really well. You can see here by inside clip 1, he ran that kind of tighter line than mid or wide, and then Ueo had a bit of a drop-off near the end. And, of course, we have the drone footage for this run, but not the previous one. Anyway, looking at Suinaga, that's a phenomenal initiation. Love that. Great rate to angle. And you can see there Ueo putting on some pressure. Suinaga slightly losing angle right there, and Ueo losing it through inside clip 2. So I'm guessing I know how this is going to go. It's going to be a 2-1 call. I'm going to go with Mr. Suinaga because I'd put Ueo at fault. And the other two judges are going to go with Ueo because they put Suinaga at fault. And there's the result.
So about what we expected given that first run, Ryan.
And it looks like Ueo is now guaranteed a podium position.
Because of the third place qualification, you're right. So no question that'll be the most talked about run of the competition up until this point.
Word up.
Ueo moves on. And the final four is filled. The third place qualifier, the fourth place qualifier, the seventh place qualifier, and the ninth place qualifier. Top two guys knocked out, and that was Andrew Gray and Kanta Yanaguida. The final four is set, and we're going to move right into it. Masuyama versus Miyoshi. Masuyama is the higher qualifier driver. Miyoshi getting through one with Andrew Gray, who made that mistake, deemed at fault by the judges after the initiation and prior to outside zone number 2. What, you mad at me?
Now I'm just waiting for them to send.
Oh. Here we go. Masuyama blasts out of the gate already. A big distance established. Comes up a little bit short on outside zone 2. And even with the gap, Miyoshi is not able to anticipate it. He is way behind in the chase, but Masuyama did make a couple slight mistakes. He could have been deeper into outside zone 2, but let's pick it up with the replay here, Ryan, and walk us through it.
So, you were right about Masuyama, not really getting out to outside zone 2 fully. Look at his initiation, though. Pretty good rate to angle, gets himself to outside zone 1, but not outside zone 2. Unfortunately, from this point on, Miyoshi is not to be found anywhere within the screen here, as you can see. It's not much of a tandem at all. You could easily call that chase run an inactive chase, as there was really no proximity to speak of throughout the course. There's no mimic at all because the chase driver is so far behind. There's no way that they can even mimic the lead. They're in a different part of the track entirely. While the lead car is maybe doing a transition, the chase car is still trying to get through an inside clip. So not a great chase run, Ryan, but Masuyama did make a couple of compromises in the lead, so it does give Miyoshi a couple of opportunities out there, especially outside zone 2. If he can get himself deeper out there, then he could win the lead-to-lead comparison. Now,
you did invoke inactive chase. That would have to be an unintentional inactive chase, right?
Yeah, inactives aren't always intentional,
right,
in my mind.
All right, here we go. Masuyama pulls some angle out of it, but then gets back into it. Much better chase run, closer all the way around, driving through the smoke line, and boy, has he improved.
Yes, sir.
Even with the little bobble, it was really no match overall. Masuyama strong in his performances here, both in the lead and the chase.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Maybe we had our expectations set a little lower for him based on previous performances that we had seen, but it seems like he's definitely had some extra seat time in the off season. He's been practicing that chase craft, making sure that he's able to mimic the lead, stay close to the lead. And one of the things that you need to be able to do as a chase driver is have good intuition and predict what that lead driver is going to do before they even do it. You know, look based on the positioning of their car, the angle that they're at, where they're positioned on the track, and knowing that they're going to need to transition soon to get around that corner, you can start predicting and really getting your car in the right position ahead of time, so that you're kind of there waiting for the lead car, so you can just kind of pounce on them as opposed to reacting to what the lead car is doing, which always leaves you a couple of steps behind.
Let's make it official. Go to the judges' scorecard here. I have to imagine it's going to swing in only one direction, as Miyoshi, a valiant effort throughout the weekend, starting off with that number 9 qualification and making it all the way to the Final Four. But I think he is going to be exiting stage left, as Masuyama has just been too consistent.
We're just waiting on the input pads here. We have some iPad-like devices that we input our scores on, and oh, there we go. It's all coming through.
All 3 judges going the way of Wataru Masuyama. Car 530 is your first driver in the finals. So the stage is set. Masuyama will face one of 2 drivers. It's either going to be Koichi Yamashita or Katsuhiro Ueo. Ueo coming out of a controversial battle with Suinaga just a few moments ago. Masuyama will get tires back on the vehicle and prepare for one of these 2 drivers. Okay, let's go down to our pit reporter, who is once again talking to a very happy Masuyama.
さっき車ぶつけちゃってちょっと心配あったんですけど、知ってる中の三好さんだったんで本気で行かせてもらいました。もうここまで来たら優勝目指して頑張りたいと思ってて頑張ります。ありがとうございます。
はい、ありがとうございます。
All right, so obviously he's very excited about his performance here, and he will be making his final, and I believe that is his first final.
I got a quick translation, Ryan.
Okay, go ahead.
Since his car got hit earlier, he was really nervous that there was going to be something wrong with it. He wouldn't be able to continue, but he's really happy that he was able to get this far in competition despite that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yamashita warming up his tires. Ueo already sitting at the line as the higher qualified driver. And here comes Yamashita. Thank you for joining us. We know it is getting late on the West Coast, and it is later on the East Coast for sure. If you're watching from the United States, see some familiar faces in the Facebook chat and also on the website. We will be post-broadcasting this on YouTube immediately following the event, so keep a lookout for that. Top 32 is already up. And a little bit of a hiccup there on the start by Yamashita. He gets out front. Ueo snaps into it a little bit off that first outside zone, but stays on throttle through the second outside zone. Huge smoke clouds being plumed up, but Yamashita is not backing down. And right towards that last inside clip before the finish line, he withdraws a little bit of angle as he was tight near the edge of the course. Let's take a look at this one more time.
Yeah, despite this track looking simple, it's not. Pretty complex set of corners you have to get just right to make it around there. Ueo with a great initiation. Yamashita not really on the same line, kind of on the inside. Angle not really matching either. He's trying to maintain proximity, but it looks like he's making some compromises to do so. At inside clip 2, you can see that he did take some angle away, and we do have the drone shot so that we can actually see that from bird's eye view. So you can see there, Yamashita not really matching angle. Ueo doing a great job. Again, Yamashita trying to maintain proximity by taking away some angle, maybe running a tighter line, and you can see there that not really getting out to outside zone 2 and not carrying angle through inside clip 2.
All right, so back at the line is Yamashita. Katsuhiro Ueo seemingly an advantage on that first run, but needs to back it up here with the strong chase. Cannot let this get away from him. Yamashita has had some strong finishes in Formula Drift Japan. And if you're joining us right now, this is the final battle in the Final Four. Masuyama already in the finals. And here we go, and it's a false start. A cone hit by Yamashita on his lead run. Excellent job by the flaggers. Haven't had one slip through.
No, they
rarely slip one through.
Very, very visual, those 3 red flags waving like that. From here, it looks like it looks very urgent, you know, and that's exactly what we're going for with this whole system, is to give that sense of urgency to the drivers so they can see it and know, hey, I'm not supposed to keep going. We do get a few slip through in the US though, don't we?
We do.
We do.
We do. Yeah, some people wonder, are the chicane cones necessary? I think that they've been a massive improvement.
Heck yeah.
To having closer battles from initiation, and that is really what you're going for. There's a little bit more time that is required to go through the chicane for the lead driver, and the chase driver can leave whenever he wants. So
think about how many videos you watch on the web from around the world, different series you've never even been to, and they all use chicanes.
Yep.
There's a reason why.
It's been adopted. Here we go. Clean start this time. Yamashita initiates. Ueo is on him. Yamashita deep into that zone. Ueo bouncing around, keeping the proximity as Yamashita makes a little bit of an adjustment. And there's a little gap established as Ueo swings wide, and we lose him on the left-hand side of the track. A good battle overall here. Let's take a look at this, Ryan, one more time.
Yeah, I like what Yamashita did there. Pretty good lead run. If you compare lead to lead, he did make a couple of mistakes, such as that little angle correction right there. Ueo did a good job in the early portion of that track. Fell off a little bit in the later portion. Let's watch this from the sky view again, from our drone. So looking at the initiation, Ueo did a good job of getting in there. He's matching angle, he's matching line, doing a great job. You know, chase to chase, I'd say that Ueo did a better job of mimicking what the lead car was doing for the majority of the track. Made a little error near the end, but if you compare that to what Yamashita was doing in his chase run, he was making a lot of compromises. He was making compromise on the angle, making compromise on line as well through the majority of the track, whereas Ueo only made a compromise at the end of the track. Did a much better job, I think, in the chase position. So
all right.
I did go over with Ueo.
One vote for Ueo, one more time, and another one more time. I figured that was going to be one of the options that was on the table between those two battles. I mean, those two runs culminating in that battle. So it is a split decision, but the majority vote is a one more time. So because we have no other battles to go to, we will need to replace the tires for these final 4 competitors and get them back out there again. I'm sure that I'm going to see the sign for a CM, potentially. That's the Japanese sign for commercial. But we will stay in broadcast until we get that. Typically, these guys are pretty quick about their tire turnarounds, but still, nonetheless, it's got to happen. So, Ryan, before we get the sign for CM, if we do get it, walk us through some of your reasoning on going with Ueo.
I thought Ueo did a great lead. I liked his initiation. He did a good job in zone 2, and a good job through the course. If you want to compare lead to lead, it might be fairly close, but I'd give a nod to Ueo lead to lead. And then chase to chase, I felt that Yamashita made too many compromises to maintain proximity. The lack of angle comparatively to Ueo through most of the course. The corrections that he made, he was offline a couple of areas and really had to reduce his angle through inside clip 2. So when you compare lead to lead, chase to chase, I think Ueo did a better job in both, especially in the chase position. So that's why I went that way.
All right, so we are sitting in on board here with Yamashita. I saw his team last night, actually, at 7-Eleven.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was kind of neat.
Where were you buying, Ryan?
A bottle of water.
Oh, you didn't get any ice cream, did you?
No, no ice cream.
Oh, we did.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we walked down to the ocean, Robbie and I. It was very nice. Beautiful down there.
You walked down to the ocean?
Yeah,
that's a good, like, half-mile walk.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, I got to wear off that ice cream, you know?
Yes, indeed. Well, you do a pretty good job of that. Let's go to our pit reporter here, who is with Katsuhiro Ueo.
はい、おめでとうございます。今の気分はいかがですか？
気分ですか？気分はまあ普通ですね。まあ中古で行かなきゃよかったと思ったですね。とっとと決めればよかったです。まあしょうがないです。頑張ります。
ありがとうございます。Back to you.
You know what Ueo just said, Ryan?
Go ahead and tell us.
He just said that I shouldn't have used tires. I should have used new tires and just dominated him. It seems like a bit of a miscalculation, perhaps, on Ueo's part.
What do you mean by used tires? You mean like tires that have already had some scrubs?
Oh,
yeah.
They're scrubs. They're not brand new tires. Maybe I'm just putting words in his mouth here. I don't know. Just going off of what he just said. If you're only using a pair of scrubs against a competitor like Yamashita, does that mean you have maybe a little bit less respect for Yamashita? You don't think he's going to be good enough to acquire new tires? It seems a little strange. Now we're talking to
全く今聞こえなかったけど、めちゃめちゃ楽しい。ワンモアできる上尾とまあやっつけるけどね。でもめちゃめちゃ楽しい。
Oh, okay. I like this one better.
Yeah, Yamashita said, I have no idea what you just said. I can't hear you through my helmet, but I'm having a great time. At least he's honest.
Different approaches. We have Ueo kind of flexing a little bit.
A little bit.
You know?
Yeah.
And Yamashita's like, hey, man, I'm just having a good time.
So Ueo says, I got it one more time on used tires. Watch this. I'm going to throw on some new ones now. And
However, Yamashita has been known to be a little bit fiery from time to time.
I think we've been on the receiving end
been
of
on
this
the
fire.
receiving end of that, yeah.
Absolutely. In previous seasons. Hopefully not this season, but you never know. The season is young, right? This is only round 1. 4 more to go after this through some pretty iconic tracks that do provide some opportunities for some fire, some sparks.
Yep, I just booked our tickets to Ebisu for next round during the halftime break, so we're all set there. And that is going to be round number 2, followed by Fuji. And then we go to
Okayama?
Okayama.
Or is it
no,
Okuibuki,
Okuibuki, and then Okayama.
Yeah.
Close up the season at Okayama.
I am looking forward to Ebisu. It's going to be a good time.
Ebisu North course is where round 2 finds us. It's a course that has really grown on me over the years. It's much different than the West course, right? Yeah, the West course is the jump, right? Or no, is that the South?
Minami is south.
South course, yeah. I like the North.
No, we're not on north.
No, what did I say?
We're on east or west. I can never remember. North course is the one that I like to drive on. It's a lot of fun. It's the one up on top of the the toppest on the top of the hill there. The highest on top of the hill is North course. We are on. I think, are we on Nishi? Nishi, whatever the heck Nishi is. Is that east or west?
I feel like it's west, but
Could be. I always get them confused.
yeah, there's so many tracks up there. But anyways, the drifting mecca, pretty much of the world, is our home for round number 2.
We must sound really dumb on the live stream right now. That's all right. It's hopefully nobody's listening right now. Maybe it's late and nobody heard us.
That's fine.
That's all right. Yeah. You should come early sometime to Ebisu or stay late. We can go driving.
You are
have some fun.
you are coming early, right?
I am going to be there early. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going up there on Tuesday actually. Taking a car that I just acquired up to the track, and hopefully we'll have some time to go drive when I'm there early for the Ebisu round. So looking forward to that.
All right, enough small talk. Let's move on to the battle, the one more time battle here. Katsuhiro Ueno versus Yamashita. Koichi Yamashita having a good time out there, he says, and Ueno putting on new tires this time around.
Hey Ryan, Nishi is west, just so you know. Here we go.
Here we go. Ueno, interesting.
Oh.
He did not initiate. It looked like he was going slow. And that is what we're going to be talking about, because a failure to initiate and the car shuts down. So Ueno is really, really regretting not having good tires on in run number 1, because he just gave himself an incomplete.
That's terrible, Ryan. It seems like there's a mechanical issue with his car.
Yeah.
Coming down the straightaway, wasn't really coming in with the jam that he usually does. Couldn't get the car to angle until outside zone 2, so he missed that latest initiation point, as you can see. Had a bit of a wiggle in the car, no angle really coming through outside zone 2, and then right here straightens up. Yamashita then drops a couple of tires off the track, gets some air, and finishes the course on his own. So Yamashita will be given a bit of an advantage there, as Ueno will have an incomplete. Could be the case that Ueno is going to call a competition timeout right now. I'm hearing Kevin talking on the radio, so let me see what happens.
So while Ryan is getting us some insight to what's going on with Ueno's vehicle, you can see here from above, shutting it down, giving himself that incomplete. And unfortunately, a missed opportunity here for Ueno on the first battle, if indeed he was being serious about his scrubs. And obviously a lot leading up to this, the controversial battle with Suinaga that resulted in a split decision from the judges on fault, 2 judges going in the favor of Suinaga not being at fault, and 1 judge going for Ueno spinning. Now we find ourselves in a situation where the first run of the one more time battle has resulted in incomplete for Katsuhiro Ueno. Oh, wow. Some new information coming through here. Well, yeah, interesting. You're seeing the tire in the background from Yamashita, and that was also Kevin Wells. Let's watch this, because what we're hearing over the radio is that Yamashita debeated a tire. Now, which one, I don't know just yet, but he came back to the hot pit with the tire debeated. Do we know which one it was, Ryan? Oh, it must have been the left rear. So after the finish line. So he debeats after the finish line. Oh, jeez. So a little bit of back and forth going on up here as the competition director talking to us, informing us what's happened here. The competition director in this case would have to make a call. It wouldn't be a judge's call. The competition director found the Yamashita's car with a debeated tire. They of course would need to change that. The debeat happened after the finish line, from what we can tell, and it looks like it was the left rear after the finish line. Let's take a look at it here. I think this is really interesting because Ueo incompletes, and so the run would be over there. Yeah. Yeah, the run was over after Ueo incompleted, and then you know what? This is another first time. This has never happened.
Well, that's the question we're having is if it happened after the car incompleted, does it? I personally I say yes, but that's what.
Yeah, this is a really new one. I've never seen this before. So Ueo incompletes. Yamashita debeads the tire, supposedly after the finish line. But the run was over once Ueo incompleted. So it's purely by Yamashita continuing to drift past Ueo that he debeaded the tire while the run was no longer being judged. That's the working scenario that we have right now. Unbelievable. I don't know. What do you guys think? What's your intuition telling you? I think, I don't know. This is a tough one, right? Because you can't just hand. It seems weird to hand Ueo the win after his incomplete. He would, in this situation, if it happened in competition, in a judge situation, Ueo would win this battle as long as he did his bye run. It just seems really bad, though, to me. But I don't know. This is a brand new one. Brand new one. So a lot of back and forth going on here. I'm trying to do my best job listening and giving you guys insight. So, but again, if you're joining us, basically where we are here is we have the one more time battle, and then we had the first run. And we had the battle. We had a one more time, and we were in the one more time battle. The first run of the one more time battle resulted in an incomplete from Ueo, and then after the incomplete had happened, Yamashita debeaded his tire by continuing to drift past Ueo, somewhere about right there.
Or potentially right there.
There, probably there. That seems a little bit more harsh.
So either way, the question becomes, do you let the chase driver change tires when the rule says that if you debead during a run, you're not allowed to change tires and fix the debead? But I don't think this situation's ever happened before where the lead driver incompletes, the chase driver passes him and keeps drifting and then incompletes himself. So this is kind of new territory for us, and because it is, we're going to let him both change tires and keep going.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, I think that's going to be a popular decision for the fans. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, and for the drivers, I think it's fair just because of the fact that it is kind of a new situation. But maybe we'll have to write something into the rules for that. Because in this situation, the chase driver didn't have to keep drifting. And actually, we tell them not to keep drifting after the lead driver incompletes. We don't want the chase driver to keep drifting past an incompleted car, right? For safety reasons, if there's a stationary car on the track, you don't want the chase driver to go blasting by them.
All right, I'm getting the signal for a CM. We're going to take a quick commercial break. It looks like we are going to let them swap new rubber on both vehicles, finish up the second half. It got crazy here in the Final Four, Ryan. We'll be right back at the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship. We are back, and we are here at the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship, Round 1 at Suzukatwin Circuit. It was going fast, Ryan. We were blowing through the top 16. We got right into the grade 8, and then we got to the last battle of the Final Four that kicked off some craziness. Ueo and Suenaga, controversial battle. Ueo makes it in. He battles Yamashita. We have a one more time. And then on the one more time battle, we get a one more time. Then on the one more time battle, Ueo has a vehicle problem. He shuts down, incompletes. Then Yamashita debeads. We made a call on site with our competition director to let both drivers change tires. And so where we stand right now is Ueo has an incomplete on his first run, and Yamashita is now going to be the lead driver.
That is correct, Ryan. Great synopsis.
All right, so the winner here will face Masuyama, who had a great run from the top 32 all the way into the finals. He was our number 4 qualifier. He has been quietly and patiently waiting aside for this battle to conclude. Unless something crazy happens, it will conclude on this run. Yueo is at a big disadvantage after the vehicle did not respond when he initiated, and then the car shut down right past outside zone number 2. Waiting for our starter to step aside. That'll be the signal that the course is clear. Thank you all for joining us in the wee hours of the morning back in the U.S. or wherever you're watching around the world. Round 1 of the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship has been a fun one. We've gotten great weather. This is our first little batch of sun here. It's been overcast throughout the entire weekend. Now it's actually quite hot, Ryan.
It is. We are sitting in the direct sunlight as well.
We're getting blasted. Can't move anywhere.
We're all wearing black, so that doesn't help. But it is a beautiful day. This has been a great event.
Here we go. Yamashita into initiation. Yueo right on his tail. Decent angle from Yamashita, but Yueo trying to close the door. He's got to make a big impression here. Pulls back, gets right back into the pocket, and a great chase run by Yueo. You'll be saying, well, only if on that succession of battles, but there's no question it's got to go in favor of Yamashita. Let's take a look at this run one more time.
Yamashita had a good initiation. Yueo's right there with him. Yamashita got out to outside zone 2. Yueo on a slightly tighter line, trying to keep his proximity to Yamashita, and like you said, he's trying to make a big impression to overcome that incomplete from the first run, but I don't think this is going to be enough. Yamashita did not make any errors. He put the car in all the right places, did what he was supposed to do in the lead position. Maybe not his most aggressive run, but he knows that Yueo is running on an incomplete from the previous run, so he doesn't have to run a 100-point run. He can run a 92-point run maybe and still be fine. So that's pretty much what he did right there. It was a pretty clean run. Didn't really see any errors. All of our scores, our votes are in. Just waiting for it to come up on the screen, and there it is.
Swing it left for Koichi Yamashita. He is your final driver to make it into the last battle of the afternoon, and that is the finals. Katsuhiro Yueo will bow out, but he will receive 3rd place because of his qualification relative to the other driver that went out, which was Miyoshi. He qualified 9th. Katsuhiro Yueo qualified 3rd. So he will take that 3rd spot. And this next battle will decide who is 1st and who is 2nd. We'll get a brand new set of tires on Koichi Yamashita, and then he will join Wataru Masuyama in the finals. Ryan, what do you make of this battle here? Yamashita has gone through quite a bit. Is he going to be able to get settled enough to take on Masuyama, who's really been more or less relaxed for the last 15 minutes?
Well, the big story is Masuyama making it to the finals. I think we've pointed it out many times throughout the weekend that Masuyama can put together a great qualifying run, but can't always deliver in tandem battles. But today he's proven that he's a master of both. He's getting himself all the way into the finals right now up against Yamashita. Yamashita's been driving. His blood's pumping right now. He's not even getting out of the car, so he may be getting a little tired, a little hot in the car now that the sun's out. And like you said, Masuyama's been kind of chill, been hanging out, watching what's going on. Let's get this interview here.
いやちょっと上尾がね調子悪くなっちゃって
Something about
いい
Yueo.
戦いしたかったんですけど、まあでも決勝はいい戦いできるようにちょっと頑張ります。はい。ちょっとさっき待ってる間鼻血出ちゃったんですよ。
鼻血ですか？
のぼせちゃった。
So Yamashita is saying that he knows that Yueo's car is not 100%. He knows that he wasn't going to be able to put
決
together
勝
a
への
great
意気
tandem
込
battle
みあります
with
か？
Yueo,
いや勝ちます。
but that he's hoping going into the next battle he'll be able to do a great tandem battle with Masuyama.
Very positive attitude.
増山選手いかがですか？決勝相手の。
増山は
I'm not
も
quite sure what happened there, but
う
it
いい
looks
走
like
り、も
Yamashita's
う
nose
昨
is
日もう金
bleeding.
曜日からずっといい走りしてるんで、
Oh, really?
予
Inside his
選も
helmet.
前にいるんで、で
opening on.
タイヤも同じバリのユーザーなんで、もうこれは思いっきりいきます。
ありがとうございました。Back to you.
So Yamashita saying that he's been impressed watching Masuyama. He said he's been driving really well all weekend, and he's going to give it his all here against Masuyama as they go into the final battle.
He's definitely staying on the positive track of things here.
He is.
Keeping focus on Masuyama, who once again, as you said, has been.
本当すいません、
we
ガ
have-
ス欠
we
で
have
す。
more?
Oh, 言えよ。
ちょっとやっぱりちょっとこ
ちょっと something
うなんていうのかな、自分のマネジメント不足ですね。いけると思ったんですけど、なんかちょっとガソリンが入れてるのを忘れちゃって
ちょっとガソリン
申し訳ない。自分が全て悪くて、本当山下さんとかちょっと大会に対してちょっと申し訳ないことをしたんだ。
He ran out of
本
gas
当すいませんでした。
on that
gosh.
run, and that's what happened there. So that's
So his
gasoline.
incomplete was because he ran out of gas.
はい、ありがとうございま
That
す。
is classic. Well, somebody's in trouble.
Yeah, he said he's going to be more careful next time. So chotto gasoline means a little bit of gasoline, or
That
he,
is
ran out.
unbelievable. Well, it got crazy there for a second,
Yes, it did.
and it was all because of a little less gasoline.
Hey, folks, little tip from the pros: if you're out there drifting, especially in the quarterfinal or the semifinals, I guess you want to make sure you put gas in your car. Make sure the car is fueled up.
Wow, there was really no craziness this event, and then we get to the quarterfinals,
Yeah.
and it just went sideways.
Hey, is that a pun?
What?
Sideways?
You know, we're going in a straight line and sideways.
Drifting sideways, get it? All right, so we're waiting for tires. You can see that Masuyama is there waiting, ready to go. Just waiting for Yamashita to clean up his nose and get some tires on his car. Get himself out here so we can get the burnout started and get the final started.
I'm not seeing the CM eyes, so it looks like we're going to stay in broadcast here, at least for the current moment. Masuyama is waiting for tires from Yamashita so he can jump in the burnout box first. He is the higher qualified driver, qualified 4th. Yamashita qualified 7th, so he will be taking the lead. As the sun out and about here. A beautiful day in the middle of the forest out here at Suzukatwin. And this is the best crowd that I've ever seen at this event. So great job putting this one together and getting people out here. It's been a good one competitively. And a very strong field of 46 drivers that were whittled down to 43, then to 32, and then into the bracket we went, and we find ourselves in the final. So I know the directors of the series have been really happy with registrations. I heard that Ebisu sold out in 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. And so they're starting to limit the number of cars because there's obviously a limited paddock space, and you have to run the show in a certain time frame. I think they're trying to cap it at around 45. So there was 46 drivers for this event, and already filled roster for Ebisu. So good signs as the Formula Drift Japan Championship continues to progress. Love the addition of the drone and a lot of the new production items. Really does help with the judging and giving the fans a lot of insight and a great way to kick things off here. So fans sticking around to the end. It's been a fun race so far.
Cars are doing burnouts, Ryan. Cars are doing burnouts.
All right, so we've been given the sign that the cars are doing burnouts. It looks like Masuyama is just finishing up here. Yamashita heading over to start his burnout. It is just about 3:55 p.m. local time here in Japan. We're scheduled to finish right around 4 o'clock. We'll do the winner on track, and then we will close the broadcast and finish up the event here, doing the podium ceremony and everything else. We may throw a few live stream links out there for the podium ceremony for those that want to watch that. But the battle that we are about to see is the one that we've been waiting for and anticipating since Yamashita was the victor in the Final Four. And it's going to happen here in just a few moments.
Drone buzzing overhead, getting into position, which is going to give us that view, hopefully, during the entirety of this tandem battle. I'd love to utilize that footage because it is so helpful.
Well, especially at this time of day, the sun has that really crazy refraction off of the smoke line, and if the wind is not blowing right, it's really difficult to see inside clip 2 and 1.
Yes.
Especially 2 because it's so much further away. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the finals. Yamashita finishing up his last few figure eights and headed over to meet Masuyama. As you mentioned, Ryan, we've been talking a lot about Masuyama throughout the weekend, and more or less, you know, being as kind as possible. His failure to really materialize his great qualifications in 2018, not so this weekend. This weekend he has looked phenomenal, especially in the chase, which is what we've been wanting to find out if he had practiced in the offseason. It looks like he has and is really coming into his own here. Final battle is set. Drivers are ready to go. And they are off. Yamashita gets a jump out of the gate. Masuyama blasting down that front straight, meeting each other right there in the middle, just outside that first outside zone. Oh no, Yamashita comes a little bit close. It almost looks like we had some contact, but we definitely had some car parts fly off. Big smoke line being generated by Masuyama. As Yamashita tries to close the door towards the end, it got real scary there for a second on outside zone number 2. Ryan, let's walk the fans through it.
Looking at the initiation, Masuyama on form, great initiation there. Actually, a couple of little, maybe a little step there in the initiation, but Yamashita getting really tight and having to pull off a little bit of proximity to avoid contact or further contact, and not maintaining that proximity throughout the entire course. So let's watch here.
Zone 1 too.
Yeah, so he was not on the right line there. You can see he kind of backed it into outside zone 2, but had to slow down considerably, and mimicking more or less what the lead driver's doing there, but proximity could be better. Not really as close as we'd like to see them throughout the entirety of the run, but that all occurred in outside zone 2, where Masuyama was doing a good job, but Yamashita had to maybe he braked, which he, of course you're going to expect a little bit there, but he had to brake more than you'd like him to, and he ended up falling off a little bit.
Right. All right, so Yamashita now in the lead position. Could be our final run of the afternoon. Coming down in, Masuyama is with them. Yamashita, great job on that second outside zone. But Masuyama continues to impress us here. He's right on the back bumper of Yamashita, surging towards the end. And it looks like pretty much what we've seen from Masuyama in all of his chase runs. He has that nice surge towards the end. He sticks with the drivers through those sections of the course. He does good anticipation on where they're going to move on their line. So Ryan, walk us through this one last time.
Yeah, Yamashita did a good job at initiation. Pretty snappy, pretty good job there. Good job on outside zone 2 as well. And what you're really watching here is how close Masuyama is. He's following Yamashita everywhere he's going. He's really mimicking what he's doing with better proximity than what Yamashita was able to do to Masuyama on Masuyama's lead. So comparing chase to chase, I'd say that Masuyama was a little bit closer, a little bit better on the mimic. He didn't have that braking event, let's call it, there in outside zone 2 that caused him to back off as Yamashita did. And you can see that he's following him better. He actually went into outside zone 1 with him, went into outside zone 2 with him as well, and he's mimicking his angle and line. The transition was just a beat off there, you know, maybe not quite exactly on time, but you could see it was just Yamashita went, and then there was that little kind of like that little heartbeat, and then Masuyama transitioned right after. So not terrible in that sense, but just a little bit off of what the lead was doing. Compare that to what was happening when Yamashita was chasing. His proximity wasn't there, so he wasn't able to even have that same type of transition position.
Well, sometimes it's just that one mistake, a little bit over-aggressive, came in very tight to Masuyama on the initiation. Are we going to be doing the winner's result there or bringing him down? It looks like we do have a winner. And now we just need to take direction from the track staff on where okay, we're still waiting for one judge result to go down. If we do have a result, then I believe I'm overhearing that we will bring them down closer to the judging stand. If we do not, oh, here it is. This means it's going to be one more time. right? Yep.
Uno más tiempo.
If you follow the sport long enough, you know if that sign goes up in the finals, it means a one more time. Otherwise, we would bring them down. So just to let you into the big secret. One more time it is. And Ryan, you went with Masuyama, and the other two judges went with one more time. Is that right?
That is correct, yeah. I thought Masuyama did a better job lead and chase, but they clearly thought it was too close to call. So here we go one more time.
All right, so Robbie Nishida and Andy Yen, the other two judges here this weekend, they wanted to go one more time, so that means tire change, and we will see this again.
Yes, we will. Yamashita's doing a lot of driving today.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
You want to get us maybe like some feedback from those guys about
Sure.
why they went one more time?
So what they're saying is, boy, I'm going to screw this up. Yamashita's lead was better, and they preferred Masuyama's chase.
Okay, so okay,
That's why they split, right?
they split.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, I think yeah, Masuyama was off that first outside zone. I need to go back to see if that was actually enough to make his lead better. But you know, I get it.
That's why there are three of us.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it seems like we are going to stay in broadcast here and not go to commercial break again. So
You get to listen to us talk about nothing for the next couple of minutes.
tire changing going on here. Should be a quick turnaround. We'll do that and a quick burnout. Get back for the one more time. We were so close, Ryan.
Yes, we were, Ryan.
So close.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
Well, either way, I think this is a huge victory for Masuyama, making it to the finals. These are going to be our number 1 and number 2 drivers in the championship going into round 2. So they will have the momentum behind them. It's just going to be about positioning at this point. The rest of the field has been solidified in their results.
Hopefully they both have gas in their cars for this last battle.
Here it is here, if you want to take a look at it again. That was, you know, the first run. That was the mistake by Yamashita after the initiation. Masuyama was a little bit shallow on line on the outside zone number 1, but the mistake from Yamashita seemed like a pretty big mistake. Now let's watch Yamashita's lead run. This is what the other judges thought Yamashita did better on.
Correct.
So here it is. He initiates. I'd say maybe a tiny bit deeper. He did do outside zone 2 pretty well there. I get it. I think the mistake from Yamashita just seemed like the bigger of the two, the bigger of the mistakes overall. You know.
Sure.
So, I'm not. I know I don't have to convince you because you went with Masuyama.
Yeah.
So I'm just, you know.
You're analyzing. I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah. There's no problem with that. You do your thing, Ryan. We need to talk to the people and give them the feedback that, you know, we are analyzing these things. We take this stuff pretty seriously, and we take the time to look everything over. The judges, we don't always agree. You know, I don't really have great contact with them at the moment because of the fact I'm on my headset and Robbie's announcing for the Japanese side over there.
Right.
So we're not, not that we communicate very much anyway. Usually, we do talk about things after the calls have been made, and when there's contact or there's a crash or something like that, we will talk about fault together, which of course we generally never agree on either. Just because we're talking doesn't mean we agree and convince one another about things. We're just talking through, hopefully getting points or pointers from the other judge saying, hey, did you catch this? Or maybe you missed this. Why don't you take a look at that?
Well, there are 2 occasions today where we've had something happen for the very first time, right? The first one was we had 2 split decisions back to back, the ultimate split, driver A, driver B, one more time. We had that back to back, remember?
Yep, that was 2 one more times based on that in the same run. Yeah.
Yep. And then we
same
had
battle, sorry.
And then we had our D-beating 0 situation with Ueo and Yamashita. So,
yes,
you know, we've had it when that stuff happens. Monday is always really fun because that's when new rules come out.
Right. Yeah, there'll be some amended rules, I believe, to the rule book.
Yep.
just because it happened here doesn't mean we can't update the U.S. rulebook to avoid any future instances just like this one.
Yeah, after 15 years, you pretty much have been through a lot of circumstances, and it's why, you know, the rule book is shaped the way that it is, because you have these kind of experiences. You want to try to account for as many things as possible, but it will always be impossible to account for everything. Right?
And how long has the DB rule been in the rule book, do you know?
In some format, probably for 4 years.
4 years. So this is the first instance of this occurring in 4 years with that new rule.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that has happened many times over the past 15 years, not specifically with the DB rule, but with other rules that were implemented at some point in time. And then a few years down the road, after that rule was implemented, oh, this is a situation that we never could have even thought of occurring and planned for, but here it is. And
well, debeating was never a thing in drifting in the early years. Almost never. I mean, we would get it with contact sometimes, or hitting the wall. But what was happening is we were getting it with drivers running, you know, 7 pounds of tire of air pressure, you know, and they were, any little bump was kicking it off. And obviously they don't want that. But, you know, because everybody's trying to fight for every inch of grip possible, they're trying to use every method possible of getting more grip out of the car, lowering the tire pressure.
And since we don't have any kind of wheel to tire attachment mechanism or device allowed in the rule book, if you're running those low pressures, the tires tend to come off the wheels.
Yep.
They do add grip, but if you look at something like drag racing, bead locks are allowed. So what you get there is very low pressure with the tire bead locked to the wheel. And in that situation, you get that, you know, the wrinkle in the wall of the tire, which multiplies the grip factor of that tire. And that's essentially what the drivers here are going for. But they're not able to do it when the pressure's so low without a bead locking mechanism than it does bead. So we're trying to make the competition more fair, keep it flowing better.
The original DB rule was actually put in place prior to the Chelsea Denofa Orlando situation 3 years ago. So the very first version of the DB rule has been in place, I think, at least 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And it's gone through different iterations, but it's always generally been about the same.
Right, and then Chelsea ended up gluing his tires on, got caught. There were some repercussions there. Tire glue gate, we'll call that, glue gate, tire gate, I don't know. It's brought us to where we are today. We're all better for it.
All right, we are back at the line. Wataru Masuyama, Koichi Yamashita. The final battle, the one more time battle. Here we go. Both drivers giving strong performances throughout the weekend and finding themselves in a well-deserved final here. And here we go. Masuyama. Wow, look at Yoichi Yamashita with an incredible jump out of the gate. And Yamashita throws big angle at the initiation. This time he gets out to outside zone 1 and 2. Yamashita was chasing him down so closely through the front straight. An unbelievable start there. And I think that was the run that we were looking for. Both drivers excelling, and what an initiation by Masuyama, but amazing jump out of the gate, perfectly timed by Yamashita.
That was a beautiful initiation, very smooth. Look at the rate to angle here. Bang, sideways, no correction in the front wheels through outside zone 2. He was deep in the zone. Midline there, could be a little bit tighter to the inside of the track before inside clip 1, but did a very good job of maintaining angle and getting through there. Here's our eye in the sky. We'll see what exactly occurred here thanks to this replay. So look at that initiation.
Jeez Louise.
Bang to angle. Great job in outside zone 2. You can see there he's a little bit wide, and he's got to reach in a little bit for inside clip number 1. Great job in inside clip number 2. And Yamashita he's there, but he's not putting pressure on through the majority of the run. It could be closer, right?
He really did take a big risk getting that close on initiation and timed it really well. But like you said, he fell back a little bit on the second half of the course. But I think all in all, it was better than the first run between those guys.
100%. That initiation was flawless from Masuyama, and Yamashita did a much better job in the chase.
Yamashita taking the lead. He initiates, he does not fill outside zone 1. Leaves the door open. An opportunity here for Masuyama. Masuyama pulls a little bit of angle out of the car. Now he starts falling back. Gap separated here. Will we see a winner? Then Masuyama closes the door, or at least the distance, by a couple feet through the finish line. Let's take a look here at run number 2.
You can see the timing of Masuyama's initiation vis-a-vis Yamashita's. Look at that, perfect timing, really great line from both of them. Yamashita is doing a good job in outside zone 2. The only error there is the correction from Masuyama in the chase position. The angle kind of changes a little bit there as he's coming to inside clip number 1.
Looks like Yamashita missed outside zone 1 as well, right? Right here.
Let's have a look right here. Yeah, he did. You're right. He kind of made a straight line right to outside zone 2. You could hear right there, it sounded like Masuyama's car gripped up a little bit. You could hear the car, the engine kind of bogged down a little bit. When you get that a little too much grip, you know, maybe the car was off boost slightly, not quite getting the tire spinning the way it wanted it to, but he ended up making that slight correction there. So we'll see if we have a result here.
Is that the signal that we do have a result, Ryan?
We do have a result. It's not unanimous, but we do have a result. So it's 2-1 for the winner.
All right, so we will be taking all of our direction from here on out from the track staff up here in race control, letting us know. And it looks like they are going to signal to bring the drivers down here in front of the grandstand. They will also, if they can, bring the 3rd place Katsuhiro Ueo, and we will do the public announcement similar to back in the U.S. series. And after a crazy, I think Yamashita has had the craziest weekend so far. No, maybe Ueo.
Forgetful Ueo. You have to wonder if that's a Ueo thing or if that's a team thing. The lack of fuel in the car just before the, what was that, the semifinal, so the penultimate battle. But we'll bring the 2 drivers over here and hopefully get the 3rd place driver, which is Ueo. If he has gas in his car, he'll be able to drive it over to the area here just in front of the judges stand. And we'll do the announcement just to let everybody know who won. So you can see Yamashita taking his helmet off in the car. And then he's going to get himself over here. Still bleeding his nose, it looks like. Oh.
All right, we are just trying to follow the lead of our track staff here and trying to get Yamashita and Masuyama. The event is over. We do have a winner, however. Now it's just a matter of putting that out into the public domain. Pretty late back home. It sounds like we are waiting on Yamashita and his team to move forward as we're prompting them to head up to the judges' tower or near the judges' tower. Thank you for joining us here at the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship Round 1 at Suzukatwin.
It's been a slice, Ryan.
It's been very fun sharing the commentating booth with you, Ryan. I'm looking forward to doing it for the rest of the season.
It's always a pleasure.
And we love your insight, and I hope it's not too hard doing commentating and judging at the same time.
No, I think it's I think they go hand in hand, really. It's talking through what's happening just helps a judge solidify what they're thinking and build that opinion at the same time, you know. And
that was the encoding that we were talking about.
Yeah.
The brain encoding.
Yeah, absolutely. It's better than writing everything down, in my opinion. And the benefit of doing this and omitting the writing is that everything I say is on record in the replay.
Can you write down right here how the judges' results were, so I know, or are they going to put it up on the screen?
I don't really know myself. Let me ask.
Okay. So there is Katsuhiro Ueo making his way, a 3rd place finish, a strong start, and our 2 final drivers, Wataru Masuyama and Koichi Yamashita. Yamashita sounded like he was having some issues and was running a little bit late. We are now seeing him roll up here. He's got to be happy with his performance. And no matter what happens, it's been a great weekend of competition between these three competitors who will be standing on the podium and taking a commanding lead in the championship for one particular driver. All right. So yeah, it was a split decision, and not a split decision in the one more time side of things. So we've got 2 votes for one driver, 1 vote for the other driver, and we'll turn it over to the Japanese commentators for the result and then come back. Tom Saiba, our Japanese commentator, public commentator. He's getting direction from Robbie Nishida about the results, and he's getting ready to tee this up.
A hush falls over the crowd.
Yes. But first, we've got to start with third place. I think he's now been informed and he's ready to go. He's moving through it. So Katsuhiro Ueo, as you know, getting third place, and strong performance by him. And now our winner. And it is Wataru Masuyama. A split decision, however, but comes out on top. That means second place is Koichi Yamashita. Well deserved by both drivers. And the smile from Masuyama, very evident here. His first ever win in Formula Drift Japan, and a culmination of a long process of refining his chase driving ability, and it really paid dividends here this afternoon as he impressed just about everybody. So great job by him and all of the 46 competitors that made up the field here at Suzukatwin.
皆さんお疲れ様でした。最後まで見ていただいててありがとうございました。昨日の予選から単走番長ってずっと言われていじられ続けてるんですけども。
So he's thanking everybody for staying with us all the way till the end.
今年で3年目なんですけど、もう去年も
Everybody's been telling him since last year that he's more of a solo runner, not really a tandem driver. He's never been past top 8 in competition, and here he is on the podium. Top 16, he had to go against Shinji Minowa. So it's the first time he's actually beat Shinji Minowa in competition, and here he is on the podium.
だんだんテンションが上がってきて最後まで走り切れました。本当に嬉しいです。ありがとうございました。
So after beating Shinji Minowa, he knew he had what it took to make it all the way to the finals, and he knew he was going to be able to ride that wave all the way to the podium.
よかったです、本当に。いつも手伝いしてくれる人とか、両親にも本当に感謝してます。ありがとうございました。
Masuyama how it feels to win, Masuyama said he's never won anything before, and this is very exciting for him to be in first place here at Formula Drift Japan.
悔しいな。やっぱ悔しいな。
He said you look good. Oh, you look good today here at the track.
めちゃめちゃ楽しくて乗れば乗るほど。
Okay, so he's saying, oh shoot, you looked really good today and you beat me, but you deserved it.
それが気持ちよく乗れてきたかなとは。まあまだまだなんですよ。でやっぱり上尾と戦ってその前カンタと戦って。
He said over time through the event, his run started to feel better and better.
上尾がミスしてでそれで勝ち上がって
Everybody that Yamashita went up against throughout the event were great drivers.
最後は決勝はもう
And Ueo
思いっ
was
き
a
りも
tough one that he
ま
had
あ
to
全部
compete
思いっきりで
against.
すけど、まあ、もう一回やれたこともすごく楽しかったし、でも次は絶対負けない。
Of course, all the runs that he did throughout the day, he did the best that he could, but going into the finals, he threw it all out on the track and took a chance, and it got him to second place. And he says, next time I won't lose, and you're going to see me in first place.
皆さんどうもお疲れ様でした。
And here's Katsuhiro Ueo.
みんなの走りばっかり気を取られて、いやいやどうしたらいいかとかこうしたらいいかって
He says he
い
got
ろいろ
carried
考え
away
てメカニックスポッタ
watching
ー
everybody
皆
else.
さんにいろいろ支えられて肝心要のガソリンを
Kind of
入れ
watching
る
them
こ
and
とを
seeing
忘
what
れ
he
て
should
し
do
ま
out
っ
on the
て
track.
本当に皆さん申し訳ありませんでした。次はちゃんと満タンで走るように
So he
心が
got
け
so
ますので
excited watching
また
everybody
いろ
else
いろ応援
drive
してくだ
that
さ
he
い。
forgot to put gas in his
皆
car.
さんどうもお疲れ様でした。
So he apologizes for that oversight and asks everyone to cheer him on throughout the rest of the season.
Well, that is too cool. Congratulations to all three of our competitors here. Katsuhiro Ueo in third, Yoichi Yamashita in second, and Wataru Masuyama in third. As we finish things up here at Suzukatwin, our next round is going to be at Ebisu, as we will be there at the second to last weekend in June 22nd and 23rd. You will see these three competitors once again, along with 43 other strong drivers looking to stake their claim in the G-Shock Presents Formula Drift Japan Championship. We'll get some final parting shots here. And Ryan, anything you want to add as we get ready to leave for the final time here at Suzukatwin?
No, nothing from me, Ryan. It's just been a great event, and I'd like to hope that this momentum can carry through the rest of the season. It's been a pretty great couple of days here. We're seeing somebody who, admittedly has never won anything before get on the podium, so that's pretty great. He got first place, Masuyama, Yamashita and Ueo. So we've got kind of the old school and the new school here on the podium at the same time. It's nice to see that they can all compete on the same level and really prove that it doesn't matter how old you are. It's that drive, that push, and how much of that energy you can take with you all the way through to the finals. So it's pretty great to see.
All right, well, congratulations again to Wataru Masuyama. For our pit reporter, Urena, Ryan Lantain, I am Ryan Sage. We are signing off here at Suzukatwin. We'll see you in June at Ebisu.
Bye, everybody.